Meet Min Si-woo. This guy didn't just get lost. He was trapped in a monster-filled nightmare dimension for a solid century. Sentenced to a 100-year grind in absolute isolation, he took so much damage, his body evolved into an unkillable tank with infinite regeneration. After a century of straight torture, he finally clawed his way back to the tutorial tower. But here's the kicker. Nobody remembers him. While he was living through eternal hell, Earth only spun around the sun 10 times. Talk about extreme time dilation. In this modern world, top-tier hunters are treated like A-list celebs. But our boy didn't come back to sign autographs. He came back to wreck shop. He speedran the entire tutorial, wiping every monster off the map in just 5 days. The world absolutely shook. Now, flexing decades of combat experience, he can literally leech skills from other players. That century in the abyss didn't break him. It forged a god. Suddenly, a voice echoes from the shadows, rambling about a fallen star that crashed into the demon realm 100 years ago. It warns him that his cheat code powers won't fly here anymore. The boss battle is starting. A massive dragon stares down the mortal, asking the ultimate question. What is your desire? Why are you here? Breathless, the kid keeps it real. He just wants to go home. He wants out. The beast thinks that's a hilariously Pradas, basic wish for someone who walked through fire. But it admits the kid's GPS was spot on. Fate led him exactly here. Then comes the plot twist. The dimensional crystal needed to leave isn't loot in a chest. It's physically inside the dragon's heart. Si-woo flashes back to the absolute misery he endured just to reach this moment. 100 years of fighting in a dumpster fire of a world, fueled by nothing but pure desperation to survive. The dragon, feeling a bit of pity, decides to grant him mercy by ending his pathetic existence with one shot. But Si-woo just smirks. About time we wrap this up. Boom. A blinding aura explodes from his body, launching him straight at the beast. The impact rocks the dragon. The monster panics, wondering what kind of dark, overpowered energy is suffocating him. He watches the kid's wounds vanish and assumes it's high-level healing. Nope. The dragon realizes too late that's not healing. That's instantaneous regeneration. With his HP bar fully refilled, Si-woo drops the gauntlet. Come rip my heart out if you can, or I'll do it for you. He gives the lizard a 3-second countdown, warning him. This isn't your average adventurer. The beast is frozen, stunned by the sheer audacity. And just like that, it's over. Si-woo crushes the dragon's skull with savage force. He counts to 1 and decides he's done waiting. One more clean hit and the titan crashes to the floor. Defeated. We finally see his stats. Min Si-woo, class, healer. Holding the crystal, he scoffs. Seems like a trash tier reward for a century of suffering. A voice snaps back, telling him to show some respect for the priceless artifact. Without hesitation, the guy tosses the dimensional crystal into his mouth and swallows it whole. Instantly, a magic circle lights up beneath him. He grins. Finally, earthbound. He's got students to see and a little brother to find. A flash of light swallows him. Next thing he knows, he's face-planting onto grass in a random forest. He wakes up woozy. That mysterious voice calls him a parasite, complaining about motion, sickness deep in its gut. Si-woo recognizes the portal lag and hopes the annoying voice gets digested along with the crystal. The internal voice asks if this is Earth. Si-woo confirms it, even though the map looks unfamiliar. He senses a weird mana flow, like a dungeon break. Suddenly, his own mana bar starts tanking. Panic mode. It's a side effect of the dimension hop. His power is nerfed down to 20%. He tries to keep his cool. He's still got skills, but a scream cuts through the air. A girl is sprinting for her life. An orc with a giant axe hot on her heels. She trips. Game over? Not today. Si-woo steps in, blocking the monster like it's nothing. With a hyped-up smile, he asks the girl, "Hey, this is Earth, right?" Confused, she nods. He asks for the year. 2037. Si-woo does the math. 10 years on Earth, 100 for him. Then he asks who the president of Korea is. Hearing the name, his face goes dark. He can't believe that scumbag made it to the top. The girl explains they're in the tutorial tower, the spawn point for all awakened hunters. She mentions the speedrun record is 3 weeks. Suddenly, a massive tiger troll slams down in front of them. She's freaking out. Min Si-woo just sighs. 3 weeks? That's painfully slow. Even with his stats debuffed, he shoves the girl aside and delivers a world-ending punch right to the beast's face. "Give me 5 days to wrap this whole thing up," he declares, oozing absolute confidence. Smash cut to a corporate office. A high-ranking boss is debriefing a squad that just made it back from the tower dungeon. The messenger drops a bombshell. There is an unregistered player ghosting the system and causing total administrative mayhem. The moment the boss sees the photo, his jaw hits the floor. He stammers out a name, barely able to choke out the question. "Is that my brother?" Meanwhile, back inside the tower, Minji-woo locks eyes with the young girl. He hits her with a blunt question. Is she planning to shadow him forever? The huntress freezes, totally stunned. She cannot process what she is seeing, wondering if she is still trapped in some twisted fever dream. Because clearing the tower in just 5 days? That is technically impossible. Meanwhile, he feels a shift. His power is flooding back, steady and relentless, like it never left. Right then, a robotic system voice announces the end of the tutorial phase. It starts crunching stats and analyzing skill compatibility. The system tries to process his data and crashes. It literally cannot handle his power level. The hero cracks a smug, knowing smile. Suddenly, a blinding flash of light whites out the screen, and the exit gate swings open right in front of them. Without a backward glance, our protagonist strides into the light, leaving the girl trailing in his dust. She calls out for him to wait, but he is silent, telling himself he finally did it. He is back in Seoul. Outside in the lobby, a crowd watches the portal spit them out. The leader of the second squad steps up. He is confused by the commotion until a lackey informs him the gate just activated. He clocks the girl from the entry list, but the guy is a total ghost in the records. He walks over, and our hero greets him with zero stress. The issue, the guy explains, is that his name is nowhere to be found. He scans the MC from head to toe, and he seriously doubts some scrawny kid cleared the tower. The disrespect is loud and clear. With a crooked smirk, he shoves another guy aside and claims he will handle this personally. He demands to know why he is not in the log. Minji-woo calmly replies that he did not use the front door. The guy snaps, calling him a liar since everyone uses the gate. The hero denies it without blinking, and the tension skyrockets. Pissed off, the guy tries to intimidate the protagonist, getting right in his face, ready to teach him a lesson. He presses for the truth, convinced the kid is using some kind of disguise skill to fool them. So, what is it? The truth? Or things are gonna get ugly? He loses his cool completely, screaming at him to talk. Or basically, he is gonna catch the beating of a lifetime. Instead of flinching, the protagonist just flashes a smile, a mocking grin, telling him to shut his trap because his breath smells like literal crap. The guy is shook. He never expected that clap back. But every tough guy eventually meets a tougher one. Minji-woo cracks his neck and asks if he really wants to get pulverized. He challenges him straight up, repeating that he needs to zip it because the stench is unbearable. The brute turns purple with rage and throws a punch loaded with insults, but our boy catches the fist like it is nothing. He reminds him he gave a warning, and to top off the humiliation, he flicks him, leaving a massive cartoon bump on his forehead. The bystanders are jaw-dropped. Cut to seconds later, and the entire security team is laid out on the floor. While a couple of officers try to figure out what the hell happened, an employee explains the kid just soloed security. The boss demands his location. As the leader of the Empire Guild, he needs to know if the CCTV caught the action. They confirm it and roll the tape. On screen, the guards are being tossed aside like rag dolls, zero effort required. Watching the footage, they are floored by the protagonist's speed. The leader leans in for a closer look. And yep, it is Minji-woo, his brother. He checks the photo and confirms it is him, looking exactly the same as he did 10 years ago. Without hesitating, he barks a cold order. Issue a search warrant and mobilize every single guild member immediately. But do not engage. Left alone, he wonders where on earth he has been all this time. Was he kidnapped? Did he run away? He tries to predict his next move. Later, he chats with the huntress who exited the tower with our hero. He asks if they cleared it. She confirms, but admits she was basically carried by the guy. He figures she got a solid perk. She reveals she feels like she unlocked an A-rank ability. He decides she is worth scouting and offers her a contract with the Empire Guild, right on the spot. The girl is hype. She can't believe the top-tier guild actually wants her on their roster. She accepts instantly. But a voice cuts through the celebration, announcing that Empire, due to their actions. This doesn't look like a team, it looks like straight-up street thugs. He spins around, annoyed, and gets in the guy's face. Watch your mouth. The girl is shaking in her boots. Suddenly, a white-haired hunter makes an entrance, dripping with sarcasm. My bad, he smirks. Meet Ryu Ji-hwan, an S-class powerhouse and master of the Gyumgang Guild. A second later, another big shot rolls up. Choi Sung-il, also an S-class hunter, and master of the White Lion Guild. He mentions the association called them all in. They scan the area, eyeing the security guards, who are flat on the ground. Gotta be the work of that mysterious, unregistered, awakened one, right? Ryu squats next to a body. Whoever this guy is, he muses. He sure knows how to make a loud, messy entrance. Choi nods. They need to track this guy down. He's a goldmine. He admits he's itching to recruit him. Ryu busts out laughing. Let's make it a race, he challenges. First one to spot him, keeps him. He's implying the competition is gonna get ugly. Meanwhile, the protagonist's brother watches the whole showdown in silence, radiating barely contained rage. Choi decides it's time to split up. Ryu flicks his business card to the girl, who's still in shock. We'll be in touch, he promises, then bounces. Outside, a blue-haired kid is waiting. He sees Ryu approaching and asks, "How'd the meeting go, boss?" His master barks an order. Round up every S-rank hunter in Goomgang. Form squads, send them out. We've got a target to find. The kid asks who exactly they're hunting. Ryu cracks a mysterious grin. His eyes go dark. Not just anyone, he reveals. We're after the cursed bloodline of Min Se-jun, leader of the Empire Guild. Smash cut. We see our hero, strolling solo through the busy city streets. The parasite immediately starts gripping. 100 years. And your first move is eating chicken? Our boy just keeps chewing, happy as a clam. Zip it, he mumbles. I'm recharging my humanity here. Back on the move, the creature asks, "So, what's the plan? Where are we headed now?" He gets serious. Isn't it obvious? He stares off into the distance. There's only one place to go. Home. He stops in front of a house. It's old and beaten down. This is it, he confirms. Hesitating for a split second, he pushes the wooden door. It creaks open. A voice echoes in his head. Welcome back. Cue the flashback. He sees his parents greeting him after a long day. He sees his little brother sprinting over when mom calls him. A glowing memory of a family dinner, everyone smiling. But then reality hits like a truck. The place is trashed. Abandoned. Empty bottles and cobwebs everywhere. It's a depressing sight. He stands in silence, taking in the wreckage with a hollow, sad look. Later, leaning back on the porch, he sighs. I can't even remember my parents' faces anymore. They say forgetting is a blessing. But for him, it's a straight-up curse. He fought for 100 years without a break. His body froze in time and his senses dulled. Terrified of losing himself, he clung to his memories like a lifeline. His brother's face, his precious disciples. Those memories stopped being the past and turned into obsession, regret. But he was okay with that, because that was the only thing keeping him sane for a whole century. The parasite starts complaining again. It's freezing here. The demon world was way warmer. The hero claps back. Yeah, but the demon world didn't have chicken. He notes he won't be staying long. Time to move. He decides his next move is checking on his disciples to see what they've been up to for the last 10 years. He hopes his brother, Se-jun, is all right. Suddenly, a shout shatters the silence. Busted. A squad of hunters rolls up. Our hero quips, took you long enough. The leader steps up, demanding to know if he started the brawl outside the tower. Another guy sneers. What, you want a medal for that? They claim they're with Goomgang. Our boy couldn't care less about the name. When one guy threatens him, he fires back. You should be walking on all fours. It'd match that face of yours. He doubles down. Guess they're letting gorillas become hunters these days. The hunter snaps. That's it, he roars. I'm gonna teach you a lesson. Glowing with green energy, he lunges forward, aiming a haymaker right at the hero's face. Bam! The fist slams into nothing but air. The hero is gone. His buddies start laughing, thinking the dude got sleep-moded with his hands still in his pockets. Turns out, that lightning flash skill doubles the user's speed. The MC asks the parasite if it's hungry for a snack. The creature gives the green light. It's the first meal since they touched down. He launches straight up, leaving the redhead hunter totally shook. Blink and you miss it, he reappears right behind him. The guy screams, having zero clue what just hit him. One surgical strike sends him face first into the pavement. He's coughing up blood from the sheer force of the impact. While his squad scrambles back in terror, the hero looms over the body, queuing up his next dark move. He reaches out and gives the order to his predator. Feast. A circle of dark magic erupts out of nowhere, catching every hunter in the vicinity off guard. Predator mode activates, ripping the skill straight out of the defeated enemy. He's stoked it works on Earth. Even if the parasite complains the flavor has nothing on fried chicken, one trapped hunter is twisting in agony, proving the power difference. Another barks orders for the group to rush him. Perfect time for a test drive. The hero takes the parasite's advice and fires up his shiny new power. Using lightning flash, he becomes a blur, dropping multiple hunters simultaneously. One guy snaps, charging in with a knife skill. The hero stops him cold and lands a clean knockout shot to the jaw. He roasts the dull blade before extracting the vital strike skill for himself. Another hunter tries a sneak attack during the distraction, but our boy claims that skill, too. Right then, a desperate voice screams his name, forcing him to freeze. Cut to him holding a blade to a guy's throat, everyone else floored. His stare is absolutely lethal. The blade grazes the captive's neck just as Se-jun arrives, gasping for air. A memory flashes by for a split second. Relief washes over the hero's face. His brother just stares, totally bewildered. He recognizes him instantly. Se-jun? Bro, what are you doing here? Cue the flashback, rewind 20 years. Out of nowhere, a gate ripped open on Earth, spewing out monsters that plunged the planet into total chaos. But it wasn't all doom and gloom. The rift awakened dormant powers in some humans. The first generation of hunters was born. After losing his parents, Min Seong didn't hesitate to join up. He had to provide for his little brother. In the memory, tiny Sejun asks why he's skipping school. Min Seong smiles calmly, saying he's starting work today. The kid looks down, heartbroken, asking if it's his fault. Big Bro reassures him fast, he just picked a career early. Sejun asks how long he'll be gone. The hero says goodbye, promising to speed run this and come back so he won't worry. Scene shift. Now, the MC is gazing up at his brother's insane new mansion, totally awestruck. He can't believe his eyes. Sejun shrugs it off, saying he just used the survival skills his big bro taught him. But internally, he admits the truth. He bought this place waiting for the day his brother returned. Min Seong gets hyped about having his own room, while Sejun thinks about the hell his brother must have endured. Moved by his tone, he confirms this is definitely the brother he knew all those years ago. He steps closer, anxiety bubbling up. Where have you been? What took so long? The MC smiles, telling him to take a seat. He's got 100 years of lore to drop. In the living room, he summarizes the trip. He got transported to another world and found a parasite that can jack skills. Thanks to that creature, he slayed a dragon and used a crystal to get back home. He wraps up the story while eating, adding that the predator is currently living inside him. Sejun goes pale. Are you possessed? Min Seong denies it calmly. Not possessed, just a parasite. He tries to reassure him that, despite how crazy it sounds, he's totally sane. Sejun nods. He trusts him, and honestly, he's just happy his brother is back. The vibe gets heavy instantly when Sejun mentions that scumbag, Choi Dae-soo. He asks how that guy became chairman. Sejun explains he stole all the credit and wrote it straight to the top. Teeth grinding in rage, Min Seong wonders what the rival's next play is. He asks if the attackers were working for that one-eyed rat. Sejun shuts that down, they're from a different crew. There are 7 major guilds total, and his own, Empire, is one of them. Then Sejun name-drops Jeonggan as another top guild, and Min Seong catches the irritation in his voice. Siwoo takes a beat to ask about his old crew. The vibe shifts instantly bitter. Everyone went their separate ways ages ago. Zero contact since. One headed back to the motherland. Another sold out to join Dae-soo. But someone's missing. Siwoo drops the name. Where's Min-jun? Sejun's face goes pitch black. He drops the bomb. He was murdered. The news hits Siwoo like a freight train, leaving him stone cold. Who did it? But his brother shakes his head dead end. No killer ever found. The body just vanished into thin air. The leading theory? Another hunter did the deed. Even a top-tier special agency dug into it but came up empty-handed. Siwoo frowns at the acronyms. What agency? Sejun breaks it down. It's a massive international organization, specializing in hunter-on-hunter crimes. Basically, the police for the superpowered. Suddenly, a spark ignites in Siwoo's eyes. A dangerous glint. You got a plug in there? Sejun nods, offering to pull strings, but begs him not to go rogue on a suicide mission. The MC appreciates the assist, but clarifies he's not just looking for intel. His brother pushes back hard. Hunters fight monsters. Siwoo, we don't play detective. He tries to bench Siwoo, telling him to rest, but Siwoo shuts that down immediately. You forget I spent 100 years fighting for my life in hell. With a gaze dark enough to swallow the room, he declares there's nothing he can't handle and nothing he won't do. Sejun gulps, suddenly remembering the terrifying nickname the world used to call his brother. Defeated, he agrees to patch him through to an agency admin. As he dials, he realizes his brother's aura has completely shifted. It's lethal now. Suddenly, Siwoo spots a familiar mug on the computer screen. Sejun drops the guy's current name, but the MC shakes his head, claiming that's definitely an alias. Cut to 2 days later, a man storms into the office, absolutely fuming, and starts chewing out the rookies. He's losing it because higher-ups dumped a new recruit on him with 0 evaluation. He's grumbling, ranting about how back in his day, being a hunter actually meant something. The new guy has heard this boomerang spiel hundreds of times, but the boss has the replay button stuck. He starts bragging about that one time his squad almost got wiped out thinking they lost their ace, until this god-tier healer showed up out of nowhere and clutched the win. While he's lost in nostalgia, a voice cuts through. Hey, Siwoo steps up, looking him dead in the eye, and asks why he decided to change his name. The boss freezes, totally thrown off. With a crooked little smirk, Siwoo asks, don't you remember who saved your life? The team leader stammers, Min Siwoo? Then, pure terror kicks in as he screams the nickname that haunts his nightmares, MAD. Dog! A flashback rips through the screen, showing Siwoo's healing power wasn't just strong, it was terrifying. The team leader quickly clears his throat, trying to regain composure. He introduces Min Si-woo as the new recruit. But the guy is a wreck, sweat beading on his forehead, as he orders the team to give the rookie access to whatever he wants. Two squad members exchange a confused glance. The boss is acting super sus, and one whispers that this rookie definitely isn't just some random guy. Suddenly, the boss barks at one of the girls, ordering her to the conference room immediately. As they walk down the hall, the gossip spreads like wildfire. Is the new guy an S-ranker? Once inside, the whole squad tries to suck up to him, offering coffee, uniforms, you name it. Si-woo, looking totally unimpressed, just asks for a cheap mixed coffee. Then, the data admin turns to the leader, asking exactly what files the newbie is cleared to see. Si-woo cuts in, taking charge. He demands they pull up every single file on deceased hunters. The request sucks the air out of the room. The woman turns, ghost pale, but the boss snaps at her to just do it. He assures her the rookie can handle it, while she thinks she doesn't even recognize her own team leader anymore. Trembling, she asks if Si-woo is only looking for cases of hunters killing hunters. Bingo, he confirms, adding that he also wants the list of every killer currently on the run. His internal monologue kicks in. Only a high-level awakened could have taken out his student. The mission is simple. Find the scumbag who did it. The girl asks where to send the terabytes of data. Just shoot it to my phone. Right then, a knock echoes through the room. A guy bursts in the cops are screaming for backup because a gang war just popped off. The leader rolls his eyes, thinking it's just some low-level thugs, but the messenger drops a bomb. One of the gangs is Cerberus. The boss lets out a heavy, defeated sigh, while Si-woo frowns. The hell is a Cerberus? The data girl explains they're a notorious syndicate, tied to everything nasty, arms dealing, contract killings, and even human trafficking of hunters. That catches his attention. Si-woo tells the leader, I'm in. Let's go see what these clowns know. The boss agrees instantly and bolts out the door. Si-woo is right on his heels. He throws on his jacket, cracking a joke that, as the rookie, he better keep an eye on his superior. Cut to a completely trashed bar, flexing a hollow victory. This guy thinks he's untouchable. Meet Kang-oh, the self-anointed invincible shield and second in command of the notorious Cerberus crew. Right on his heels, Jikin number 3 on the totem pole steps up, demanding his slice of the glory. Kang-oh claps back, telling him to earn his stripes by beating him first. Jikin swears he'll make it happen. But while the ego trip continues, a lackey asks if they can start tagging their turf. The boss roars out that starting today, this concrete jungle belongs to Cerberus. But the victory lap gets cut short by a bone-rattling explosion that launches a goon straight into the stratosphere. Jikin stumbles up, dazed and confused, scanning the smoke. He swore they had wiped the floor with everyone. Through the haze, our hero fumbles the agency acronym until the parasite inside him corrects the slip-up. HMCS. He steps forward, announcing himself as Hunter Police and demanding an immediate surrender. Jikin starts spiraling, mind racing. How did the cops pull up so fast? Completely under the radar? The gang leader sneers, spitting out filthy pig at the intruder, dripping with disrespect. Jikin freezes, pure horror washing over him. What did you just do? He stammers, warning that if this cop drops dead, their whole operation goes south. But the boss? He couldn't care less. Suddenly, the silhouette clears, revealing the protagonist casually cracking his neck, sending a chill straight down the leader's spine. Flashing a twisted grin and eyes glowing with raw intensity, he dares the boss to bring the heat. The goons whisper, realizing this guy is a total stranger. But Jikin catches something off about that stare. The boss can't figure out how the kid survived, but decides to double down and finish the job. With a furious roar, he triggers an armor buff, swearing he's going to put this pest in the ground for good. The whole squad rushes the hero, out for blood. But in a blink, the perspective shifts, the boss plunges into a dark void. Standing before a river, an old man watches from the far bank, calling out to him. The elder waves eerily, and the boss screams in despair. Back in reality, the defeated leader is hallucinating his grandpa while the hero delivers the final blow. He yanks the guy up by his hair, zero mercy, and orders him to join the pile of bodies scattered across the pavement. He turns to the last man standing, letting him know he's the only party guest left who hasn't been folded. The parasite hums, noting the thug's skill looks delicious, suggesting the predator take a bite. The desperate goon screams that they're just hired muscle, asking what the hell this is all for. The protagonist scoffs, saying, yeah, he figured that out, they look like a bunch of total amateurs. Confused and shaking, the man begs for a reason. The hero shrugs, he just wanted to test the criminal's strength and do some weeding in the city. Right on cue, the team leader rushes onto the scene, breathless and visibly panicked, asking if everything is all right. One look at the carnage sends the leader into shock, while the hero casually complains about their slow response time. He mentions he left one alive, but the rest? sent straight to the afterlife. The terrified boss can't wrap his head around how the kid is so chill after a massacre like that. Then it hits the rookie. He forgot to turn on his body cam, and he is still on probation. He quickly asks the boss to handle the cleanup, and the guy, scared out of his mind, just nods. The hero points out the blood on his gear, and the leader, hiding behind a wall of nerves, agrees to whatever he says. Finally, a call comes in. Cerberus has been wiped off the map, and Jeekin is dead. On the other end of the line, a rank A hunter from Hong Kong demands a name. Cut to the international airport, where the hunter Good just touched down. Flanked by his squad, he marches straight toward the rendezvous point. An agent from the South Korean Hunter Association tries to offer condolences, but Good has zero patience for formalities. He wants his brother. The agent explains that Hunter Forensics is holding Jeekin's remains, labeling him a suspect. Good curls his lip into a mocking smirk. It's almost funny they'd talk about his brother like that. Then he drops the hammer. Was it an HMCS agent who killed him? The official stays dead silent, unable to spill that kind of intel. Annoyed, the redhead switches gears, asking if he's at least free to leave his hotel whenever he wants. The answer is a hard no that would violate the law and trigger immediate deportation and a fine. The message is loud and clear. Pay your respects and get the hell out. Ignoring the warnings, he calls up one of his guys, Yen Fan. The response is instant, and the order is ice cold. Find the target. As he walks away, his eyes burn with pure hate. He swears he's going to rip the heart out of whoever killed his brother. The scene cuts to Min Seob, asking his brother, Sung, if someone raided Min Seob's stuff. Sung nods, explaining that a couple of days after the hit, the house was completely cleaned out. He adds that every hunter's mana is like a fingerprint, and the killer wiped everything to cover their tracks. Min Jong wasn't just digging in the dirt, he was a legitimate archaeologist. But here's the kicker. Every single artifact that could hold a trace of his mana, poof, gone. Min Si-oo isn't buying that narrative. He thinks the killer wouldn't go through all that extra drama and suggests it was probably just some random loot goblin. Se-yeon looks absolutely shook by the idea. To drop the mic on his argument, he flashes the inventory of missing goods, stacked with high-tier loot, and asks who would be crazy enough to risk that much heat. Min Si-oo, completely unbothered, claps back. He says if he was the killer, trying to scrub the mana signature, he would have just torched the whole house. Se-yeon pivots, asking, okay, but what if a scavenger broke in after the place was empty? Min Si-oo nods, noting he's seen that exact scenario in the archives. He decides to pay a visit to some local fences, even though his brother insists it's a dead end since the case is ancient history. Flashing a cocky grin, Min Si-oo says you never know until you try, and promises to be back by nightfall. But literally 2 seconds later, he's cringing inside, realizing he sounded way too overconfident. The parasite immediately starts yapping about the lack of progress, and decides it's driving the bus now. It steers him down a path straight into a dead-end alley. Our MC starts roasting the entity, but then he catches a vibe nearby. A goon is debriefing his boss on recent events, asking if the boss heard the rumors. They're venting about those HMC scumbags launching raids on the black market dealers. One got snatched just yesterday. The lackey explains they don't even need a warrant, and get this, they're authorized to flatline any awakened criminal who resists. He suggests laying low and stashing the merchandise, since the feds are specifically hunting for stolen hunter gear. Cue Min Si-oo crashing the party. He busts in, shouting that he'll be the one taking that inventory. The lackey freaks out, instantly recognizing the HMC nightmare who's been spearheading the raids. The protagonist demands answers, but the boss barks an attack order. The goon hesitates. His skill set isn't built for PvP, but he makes a frantic call. Suddenly, the squad rolls up, asking if the boss is good. The boss bursts out laughing, telling Min Si-oo he made a fatal glitch coming here solo, and he's about to be fish food. Surrounded in the tight alley, our boy scans the crowd, looking totally unbothered. He thanks them for saving him. The hassle of hunting them down one by one. Golden energy starts to flare up as he tells the parasite that vacation time is over. He orders it to charge up the ultimate ability. The entity tries to negotiate for a snack. With a magic circle lighting up the pavement, Min Si-oo takes the deal. Power surges around him. The thugs recoil from the blinding light as the MC unleashes a massive shockwave. A colossal golden blast detonates, flooding the narrow alley. The explosion is so bright it's basically a flashbang. Debris goes flying and the henchmen drop, fried to a crisp. One survivor, shaking on the ground, looks up and stammers, "What kind of monster are you?" Min Si-oo flashes a sinister, menacing grin. He asks if the guy means him and introduces himself as the Mad Dog. The parasite gloats, claiming everything goes smooth when it's in charge, but the MC calls it dumb luck. Suddenly, the entity pings mana on an item. Min-siu confirms he finally secured his disciple Min Yong's belongings. The stash includes research notes, but the lock is magically sealed, requiring the owner's specific mana signature. The parasite gets salty about not being able to read it, but the protagonist clarifies he was only after the mana stored inside the book. Wasting zero time, he dials Byung-gu to tell him he's got a bundle of criminals gift-wrapped and ready for pickup, and tells him to bring the whip. After hanging up, he mentions one last stop and vanishes into thin air. Hard cut to a secret location. It's an underground market where people freely trade. Skill Intel, a neutral zone known on the streets as Black Heaven's Fall. Inside, a mysterious woman is shuffling a deck when she suddenly catches a vibe. It's the High Sorceress Mu Mion, one of the 12 leaders. She smirks, sensing someone interesting is about to pull up. The MC scans the venue calmly. Nothing has changed in 10 years. Not a single new crack, not a detail out of place. But the parasite isn't chilling, it's twitchy, itching for a brawl, hunger pulsing with a desire to devour everyone. In the courtyard, all eyes lock on him the second he steps in. He's definitely turning heads. Still, he makes one thing clear. This is a neutral zone. No PvP allowed. Then, Mumion steps up and greets him casually, like no time has passed at all. Been a while, she says. She hits him with that inviting smile, confessing she's been waiting for this moment. Then she waves him into her room. Things are getting spicy. Folks, let's roll. Once they're inside, she drops the nostalgia card, telling him he hasn't aged a day in 10 years. Our MC claps back instantly. Curious, she tilts her head, dying to know what kind of power kept him away for so long. But he shuts that conversation down with zero chill. He slams the diary on the table and orders her to extract the mana from it. She actually digs his cold attitude, mostly because he cuts straight to the chase. She accepts immediately. This is exactly her kind of gig. She sets up a chalice and a dagger, telling him to do the honors. Min-siu doesn't hesitate. He grabs the blade, knowing full well that reversing mana to its raw state is physically impossible, but he makes his move anyway. He slices his palm open and lets the crimson liquid drip right into the chalice. Her skill, Mana Recoil, kicks in to pull off a miracle. It's like trying to unbake a cake should be impossible. As she holds the book, we get a dark revelation. Skills like this break the laws of physics and use forbidden arts, which is exactly why criminals would kill for them, and why the authorities keep them on a tight leash. Myung finishes the ritual, praising the quality of his blood like a sommelier. The parasite, however, gets major bad vibes. She feels sinister to him. Min-siu thanks her for the compliment and drops a tip. A golden light flares in his hand. She asks if he's dipping out already. He shoots back that he's busy, but he'll be back. Myung lets out a little laugh. Still a man of mystery. She's definitely hungry for more secrets. Later, inside the car, the parasite swears he's never going back there. Min-siu asks why he's so pressed. It's ridiculous. She just took a few drops of blood. No big deal. Without wasting a second, he announces their next stop, the Ancient History Research Institute. Then he drops a bombshell. This is the exact spot where Min-jun was murdered all those years ago. The parasite starts freaking out about trespassing, but Min-siu clarifies the site is owned by the Empire Guild, so they're good. Face dead serious, he recalls how Min-jun's death shook the world, admitting the trauma still haunts him. But this time, he's locked in. He's going to find out exactly what went down on that fatal day. The parasite asks if he's really going to use that skill. He confirms it without blinking. He activates Mana Reminiscence, a top-tier ability that materializes emotions from a target's mana. The energy Myung extracted flows out of the small vial and floods the area. Images of the past start reconstructing before their eyes. The parasite complains, "Not enough. Mana, boss." The resolution is trash. The protagonist corrects him. It doesn't show 4K video. It shows emotions. He analyzes the scene with a grim expression. Min-jun was a tank. He wasn't weak. If he went down solo, and that fast, the killer had to be on a god-tier level. Suddenly, the ghostly image of the fallen Min-jun whispers something. Min-siu strains to hear. Order of V. He wonders if it came from a VIP. The scene shifts, revealing the silhouette of a mystery assailant, hidden under a dark hood. But the projection reveals a twist. It wasn't a VIP. The orders came from someone way higher up the food chain. The MC wonders if Min-jun was double-dipping with another organization. The parasite, let's call him Predator from now on, asks if he's okay. The entity remembers MC talking about his disciples for a century and how he hunted for them the second he got back. Predator finds it weird he hasn't shed a single tear. The MC asks where he's learning to talk so smooth, and the thing claims he learned it from watching Netflix. But the entity senses the raging emotions and asks why he's burying them. He replies that he's fine. Maybe 100 years of war just broke his mind. Right on cue, the door slams open. A masked dude calls out his name and confirms the ID. says he was hard to track down, and someone is dying to meet him. Minso crosses his arms, thinking it's pretty arrogant to show up with only 6 goons. The masked guy flinches for a split second, shook by his perception skills. He composes himself and cuts to the chase. The hunter has 2 choices. Option 1, come quietly in cuffs. Option 2, fight, lose an arm, and get dragged out. MC says he prefers to be tied up and raises his fists in fake surrender. The leader takes the bait and orders one of his lackeys to cuff him. The henchman steps up like a good soldier, but suddenly a dark shadow smacks him out of nowhere. A scream of pain rips through the air. Minso smirks. He plans to use his bare hands to wreck the whole squad. Predator laughs, warning them they just walked into a trap. The rest of the goons, absolutely triggered, charge forward, screaming that the MC is finished. Just then, a booming voice echoes out, ordering an immediate ceasefire. Gu, the redhead, drops in wrapped in a crimson aura. He declares this fight is his, because that prey belongs to him. Our protagonist barely cracks a smug smile. The hunter's dramatic entrance is just. The style is definitely sleek. The guy called Brotherless locks eyes on the protagonist and drops the big question. Is he the hotshot hunter from the HMCS agency? No small talk here, he demands to know if this is the guy who iced his brother, Jikin. Min Si-woo plays it cool, claiming he has no clue. Then, he drops the temperature to sub-zero. He never bothers learning the name of the trash. Before he sweeps it out, that line snaps something inside. Good, pure hatred takes over. He stomps the ground, so hard the concrete splinters, screaming bastard at the top of his lungs. Then he launches a full-scale assault, swearing to rip the MC's heart right out of his chest. The hunter unleashes a devastating strike, nothing but raw, unchecked power. But Min Si-woo catches it with a smirk. He actually compliments the guy, at least he's got A-rank power. Good freezes, totally shook. Is that a healing skill? Is Si-woo just a healer? Blind rage pushes him to strike again, throwing a flurry of rapid-fire punches, while screaming for that dirtbag to just die already. His lackeys are watching from the sidelines, struggling to process the scene. One yells for the squad to quit staring and jump him. But before they can move, Min Si-woo flickers into existence right in front of him, in a literal blink, warning the small fry to back off. Then he weaves through every punch with minimal effort, making it crystal clear. He won't let anyone ruin his playtime. Good is losing his mind. The protagonist read every single attack vector and dodged with surgical precision. It hits him. This guy isn't just strong, his perception stats are way higher than he anticipated. He decides to go all out, but Min Si-woo casually snatches one of the goons, and while crushing him without breaking a sweat, he lays down the law. You do the crime, you face the consequences, 0 exceptions. He confirms he took Jikin out, declaring the only ones who deserve tears are the civilians, his brother tormented. Not good. That breaks good. He roars, demanding to know if every criminal deserves a death sentence. He screams that Jikin had no choice, that he turned to crime just to put food on the table. With his arm glowing with pure rage, he vows to make Si-woo pay for ruining his brother's life. He triggers 1,000 assassinations of Angia, focusing all his mana into one massive nuke. Min Si-woo instantly realizes there's no dodging this one, so he demands a skill from Predator, who grumbles about being overworked. Right on cue, the protagonist activates Neutralize, and a gigantic magic circle unfolds, completely deleting the incoming attack. The energy just vanishes. Good stands there paralyzed, wondering if he just got hit with a dispel spell. A henchman panics, yelling for a group rush, but Min Si-woo is already in Good's face, shutting down that repetitive sob story for good. A blue aura wraps around his fist as he drives it, dead center into the hunter's chest. The impact sends him flying. His crew starts screaming in desperation, battered but not beaten. Good stumbles up and claims the fight for himself, ordering everyone else to stay back. Brotherless thinks Min Si-woo is tapped out on mana and decides to finish this with hand-to-hand combat. With a war cry, he charges up some spinning energy and leaps, but the MC stops him cold with a simple punch to the face, delivering a dry, "Don't even try it." Then he unleashes a combo, so tight, Good can't even cast a skill. He even takes a second to whine about the old building, asking if this criminal trash is going to cover the repair bill. The hit launches Good backward, while the MC does a mid-air flip. Seeing an opening, Good screams at his lackey to tie Min Si-woo up like yesterday. The guy complains about the late notice but fires off his containment chains anyway. Red chains shoot out, wrapping the protagonist tight, locking down his arms and body. Trapped, he hears Good's subordinate, yelling that he's going to tear him to shreds so he can't heal. But the MC just congratulates him for following his brother's footsteps and becoming a criminal too. A golden magic circle lights up under his feet as he triggers lifesteal, draining the target's vitality. The redhead shrieks in agony as his HP gets vacuumed out. The protagonist absorbs it all. The guy's body withers and ages decades in seconds. The henchman freaks out, refusing to believe a simple healer has that kind of kit. So, the protagonist spells it out. That was his first awakened skill. And he ain't your average medic. It's not just about healing. He controls the very essence of life force. Flashing a power-tripping grin, he reveals his true class, Life Mage. He pivots to the last goon standing, who's desperately begging for mercy. Min Si-woo hits him with a flat, no, and knocks him cold with a single tap to the dome. With everyone laid out, he scans the room, wondering if he missed anyone. Suddenly, he remembers. He adjusts the cam on his belt, praying it's still recording, and talks to Byung through the feed, making it super clear the bad guys swung first, and this was totally self-defense. The scene cuts to Byung's squad watching the live stream, jaws on the floor. Dude practically chokes on his lunch, spitting it out as the crisis hits. The agent fesses up he fat-fingered the go live button instead of hitting record. Total disaster. The suits at the ministry are dissecting the footage, baffled. Since when does the HMCS do live streams? A guy explains it's part of some desperate recruitment PR stunt pushed by Global HQ. The plan was in its flop era, failing to create any content that actually hooked an audience. An officer scratches his head. Why would a god-tier talent sign with the HMCS? But he gets cut off. A woman drops the bombshell. The guy who got smoked on that stream, that was good? From Hong Kong's Red Light Guild. The doors slam open, and the whole room snaps to attention. A heavy hitter walks in, apologizing for the wait. It's Choi Dae-soo, the president of South Korea, and he's here to get the full sitch. Fast forward a few days to the Empire Guild's cafeteria, which is absolutely buzzing. Sejun sits across from his brother, asking if he can hear the gossip mill churning around them. The main character? Unbothered. Total tunnel vision on his food. He cuts in smoothly. Ignore the haters. Just eat. He even hypes up the cafeteria food, joking he could crush lunch here every single day. Then Sejun gets down to business. That accidentally live-streamed beatdown of good, it went totally viral. Lucky for them, he explains. The camera quality was so potato and shaky that his face is a blur. Still, he's sweating bullets about what happens if Choi Dae-soo connects the dots, so he begs his bro to keep a low profile. Min Si-woo gives a chill nod, snagging a piece of rolled omelet with his chopsticks. He's riding with whatever his brother says. Then, he feeds the omelet right to Sejun, catching him off guard. Sejun turns bright red, totally awkward, but his brother reminds him that no matter how old he gets, he's still the baby bro. Suddenly, a squad pulls up to the table, greeting the guildmaster. A huntress, Shin Yi-soo, bows deep with gratitude. She claims she unlocked an A-rank ability, all thanks to him. Sejun notices Hunter Sok is rolling with them and asks if they're headed to the rookie seminar. He takes a second to introduce the crew, Cho Hamin from White Lion Guild and Hunter Yamato from Frost Soul Guild. Finally, Sok steps up, saying it's an honor to meet the famous Min Si-woo. He mentions hearing about his crazy stats at the HMCS, and the protagonist returns the polite vibes. But Hamin decides to kill the mood. He asks if this guy is really the star rookie. Everyone is hyping up. He questions if Si-woo is really the one who flattened good on video, adding that he seriously doubts it. With a twisted smirk, he points a finger and declares Min Si-woo looks weak as hell. The other hunters freeze, totally shocked by the disrespect. Sejun says his name with a warning tone, thinking it's way out of line to pull up and start trash-talking like that. Hamin defends himself, claiming he's just asking questions. Sok tells him to watch his mouth. Tension is spiking. Sejun threatens to report this behavior to his master, Sung-yeol. But Hamin doesn't even flinch, proudly flexing that he's the direct apprentice of Shaolun, leader of the Black Water Lotus. Hearing that name, the protagonist stops eating instantly. His eyes lock on the kid, Shaolun, his old disciple, one of the youngsters he trained ages ago. Hamin is about to keep bragging when the protagonist starts slow clapping, dripping with sarcasm. Enough of this performance. He stares him down and drops a bomb. If your master didn't teach you manners, maybe he at least taught you how to fight. Hamin explodes, furious that someone would mock his teacher to his face. In a blind rage, he jumps up and kicks the table violently, making everyone jump. With eyes dark with anger, he threatens the MC to watch his back tonight. Seok goes into full panic mode, apologizing profusely for Hamin's toxicity. But Sejun waves it off, telling his brother to just ignore the idiot. Si-woo is the picture of calm, saying the kid behaved well enough. Inside, he's smirking. After all, this kid is his apprentice's apprentice, his grand student. He'll let it slide this time. Cut to an office scene. A man confirms he's marking the case closed. The HMCS branch director, Baek Gun-ho, asks what brings a visitor here. This could have been an email. The guest is Sung-il, master of White Lion, here to apologize in person for the incident. He starts making excuses for his members' disrespect, but Bake cuts him off. He smiles and downplays it. No fight, no blood. So no formal apology needed. However, he tests the waters, asking if Sung-il is actually here to poach the new recruit. Gun-ho explains the rookie is too valuable and has already been deployed on prison escort duty for awakened criminals. Sung-il says it's a shame, noting it's rare for a center to lock down talent that fast. The correctional facility sends out an SOS to the HMCS. The director gives the nod until now. These messy jobs were always farmed out to the major guilds. Scanning the report, he figures the tides are finally turning. Sung-il rises from his seat. He asks if he can dispatch Jaemin to apologize in the flesh. The director agrees instantly. It's the perfect PR move to smooth things over. Sung-il signs off, thanking him for the time. Gun-ho wishes him a safe trip, but the act doesn't fool Sung-il. He knows the old man is stashing that recruit, and he vows to hunt him down, whatever the cost. Immediately, he gets Miss Seo on the line. His order is sharp. Prep Jaemin for a field op. She asks for the drop zone. The target is clear. Incheon City Correctional. Meanwhile, the scene shifts. Outside the slammer, a guard is roasting in the heat, griping about the weather. He wonders why the HMCS still hasn't deployed a soul. His partner assures him they're inbound, but the first guard switches gears to trash talk a new inmate. He's livid instead of behaving. This guy is a total nightmare. Name's Jerry Volk. Came in quiet, then snapped and flattened 5 guys in a heartbeat. Inside the hole, Volk eyes the cuffs digging into his wrists, contemplating his next move. Suddenly, a rat scuttles up, whispering a message. The escape is set. There's a job waiting on the outside. Volk doesn't blink. He lifts a boot and stomps the rodent flat. Yet, the voice persists. All he has to do is unleash total anarchy. Under a light drizzle, the main character pulls up to the complex, scanning the perimeter. Target confirmed, Incheon Correctional Center. Suddenly, Jaemin storms into the prison like a hurricane, screaming that the prisoner is already gone. He curses the sloppy transport job, wondering why the hell Sung-il even sent him here. Then, in the distance, he spots a bus and points aggressively. Is that the one? The guard nods. Jaemin clicks his tongue, jumping back into his ride, grumbling that if they cross province lines, he's demanding overtime pay. He slams the gas, roaring that Sung-il better pay double for every extra hour. Cut to the interior of the bus. The MC sips his drink, cool as a cucumber, and calls out to the prisoner. Jerry Volk snaps back, ordering him to drink in silence. But the kid drops a simple no. Volk calls him an arrogant brat, asking if he's supposed to be the warden. At the next facility, Min Si-woo, totally unbothered, repeats no, while loudly slurping his drink. The prisoner pegs him for a rookie, doubting he can handle this solo. Min Si-woo shoots him a look of pure boredom, and asks if he's actually someone important. Volk lets out a surprised wow at the sheer audacity and zero fear. He can't fathom how the kid got this gig without knowing who he is. Min Si-woo replies that the only thing he knows is that he talks way too much. That ticks the man off. Volk starts bragging before leaving. He crushed 5 awakened prisoners, and he did it while wearing heavy-duty restriction gear. Min Si-woo asks why they'd send a rookie to escort such a powerhouse solo. He drains his cup and drops the truth bomb. They sent him to die. Instantly, a massive explosion rocks the highway, engulfing the bus in a roaring fireball. The impact launches the vehicle off the road. It flips and crashes into the grass. Outside, a young man surveys the wreckage and asks his master if the blast killed him. Suddenly, Volk kicks through the twisted metal frame, screaming at the old miserable geezer that he's out. He emerges from the debris, furious, asking if they were trying to kill him too. The old man scoffs, saying the gray wolf wouldn't die from something so petty. Volk tells him to shut his mouth. The disciple confirms he took care of the guard, noting his brain must be drowning in coffee and blood by now. The camera zooms in on Min Si-woo's hand, limp and motionless next to his spilled cup. The boy starts unlocking the cuffs, warning him to freeze since it's monotech. With a sharp click, the restraints shatter, and the prisoner is loose. Volk celebrates the relief, but a voice cuts in, ordering the criminals to freeze. Jaemin hits the scene, scanning the carnage. He instantly realizes the bus took the sketchiest route possible. He mocks the rookie. Sung-il bet on the wrong horse this time. Cracking his knuckles, he demands to know which organization they work for. The kid recognizes him immediately. A+ rank Hunter Jamin, from the White Lion Guild. The master senses they're alone, and Volk takes it as a perfect warm-up. Jaemin charges in, annoyed. Volk holds his stare, asking why they should answer. Then, he triggers his ability, and morphs into a massive, raging gray werewolf. Jaemin is caught off guard by the transformation. Man or beast, it makes zero difference. He triggers Relentless Assault, coating his entire frame in a gritty layer of crimson mana armor. Skill active, he lunges at the werewolf, unleashing a brutal, high-speed combo of strikes. The creature tanks every single hit. The beast knows this fight would be hell if he were solo, but Jamin is totally clueless. His fists connect clean, dealing raw damage. Yet, the monster stays vertical, soaking up the punishment like a sponge. He even trolls him, asking if this weak sauce beatdown is just a massage to celebrate his freedom. The old-timer decides they're wasting daylight, and barks at the young guy to wrap this show up now. The kid complies, whipping out a neon-pink energy bind that snares Jamin with the 10-headed snake. Jamin scoffs, asking what he plans to do with that toy reptile, but the snake lunges, coils tight around his torso, and locks him down, leaving him cursing the skill. Seizing the opening, the werewolf lands a devastating haymaker, sighing that he expected way more. He roars that in the underworld, spoon-fed hunters like him are nothing but worm food. Jamin claps back, saying the wolf talks a lot of trash for someone who needed a handicap match to win. Volk delivers a savage boot to his face, replying that it's called having a high IQ, he should have waited for backup. The old man cuts the chatter, time is up. He orders Volk to zero the hunter immediately. The werewolf charges energy for the kill shot, and asks for any famous last words, clarifying he doesn't actually care. Jamin grits his teeth, terrified this is where he dies helpless. Suddenly, a massive golden explosion erupts from the earth, launching everyone sky high. The Beast Boy screams in agony as the ground quakes beneath the impact. A split second later, Min Si Woo drops in, asking if Xiaolong was the one who taught him to tap out so easily. Jamin, totally shook, wonders how the hell he survived that bus explosion. Min Si Woo complains about the camera angle, while Predator roasts him, telling him to buy a magnifying glass, if he's already going blind. Volk can't believe the guy is breathing, and the old man realizes this kid's ability is built different. Jamin screams in desperation, telling him to stay down and wait for the cavalry. But Min Si Woo starts listing his crimes, sentencing him under the authority of an HMCS hunter. Wrapped in a golden aura, with a sinister grin plastered on his face, he drops the final verdict. Summary, execution. Min Si Woo wastes 0 seconds, announcing with absolute authority that all 3 have been judged. The sentence is crystal clear death. Cut to a new scene. A man is explaining to Xiaolong's apprentice that the Asura skill isn't just some basic impact move. Right after, he clasps his hands, manifesting a red magic circle that pulses with ferocious intensity. The raging creature charges forward, screaming, but the protagonist is already locked and loaded. His fist slams into the monster, shattering its jaw with a brutal crack. Then, he calmly clarifies, this isn't a blunt force technique, it's a piercing skill, one that skewers the enemy while cloaked in a red flash. The apprentice freezes, totally stunned. He screams that, that's Master Xiaolong's signature move. The monster gets launched through the air, and Min Si Woo comments that he needs to drain its blood first to tenderize the meat. Suddenly, another guy unleashes a lightning attack, shouting the skill name, Mahoraga, but an old man sidesteps the strike effortlessly, leaving the attacker completely dumbfounded. The protagonist eyes the old guy's power with genuine curiosity, and Predator, having 0 chill, asks the Prota if he can eat that. He clarifies it's just a magic scroll. Predator whines, calling it total junk food. The apprentice, fuming, demands answers from Min Si Woo. He wants to know how he's spamming his master's ability. But Si Woo has 0 patience. He grips the kid's face tight, making him scream in pain. Instantly, the old man appears, shrouded in a dark aura, warning the kid not to twitch a single muscle. He threatens to crush his soul using a gravity field. The tension spikes, but Min Si Woo barely cracks a superior smile, asking if that was supposed to be a threat. Then, the old man proposes a deal, they walk away, in exchange for the hostage's life. He tries to convince the kid it's the best play for everyone. Min Si Woo digs in his ear, looking bored, and dismisses it as nonsense. He wants the loot this mission promised. He adds that the apprentice can bolt if he wants, but the kid yells that he's stuck there. The old man, confused, asks if they aren't on the same team. Min Si Woo says, nope. Hearing that, the old man's eyes go wide. Something doesn't add up. Min Si Woo. He closes the distance, getting right in the guy's face to demand the name of his assassin syndicate. The target stiffens up, barking back, who are you and what do you want, as he preps a counterattack. Min Si Woo shoots him a look cold enough to freeze hell over and warns him not to make him ask twice. Panic sets in. The old geezer unleashes a storm of electric power, screaming at him to back off. Our protagonist doesn't even blink. He channels raw Azure energy and blasts a shockwave straight at him. The impact swallows the old man's lightning whole. The guy can't process how he just got overpowered. Inside Sibu's head, the Predator skill comments that dinner just got a flavor upgrade, and Min Sibu checks his stats, mana is back up to 40%. He smirks at the old timer, telling him to just pack it up and enjoy his final seconds. The man refuses, hard, Betray the organization? Never. Not happening. Then the apprentice drops the intel. They're bound by a silence pact, linked directly to their mana. Suddenly, Volk enters the chat, the werewolf looking like he went through a meat grinder. The old man curses him out for taking so long. Min Sibu just lets out a dry chuckle, asking if that's their best shot. Scared to die? He flares a toxic green aura, telling them, "Trust me, you get used to it after the first few times." The elder screams at Volk to make a move. The beast tells him to shut his trap. Eyes blazing, the werewolf growls that he doesn't care if he dies, as long as he rips Sibu to shreds, but the apprentice steps in, blocking the attack. "You shall not pass." Sibu flashes a grin. Finally, a fair fight. He yells that the monster should have stayed in the ground, but the creature snaps back. Party's just starting. With his face shadowed, Min Sibu whispers his ult. Wind slash. Boom. A colossal tempest slams the beast, sending the whole squad flying like ragdolls. Next thing you know, he's got the old man by the throat, voice drop dead icy. "How's it feel?" He answers his own question. "Feels like dying by inches, right?" The old guy screams as the protagonist's grip tightens, ruthlessly choking the life out of him. Sibu looks straight evil. "How many more deaths will it take for you to spill the truth?" The apprentice loses it, screaming, "What kind of monster does this?" Sibu snaps the kid's arm without hesitation. "Guess one death wasn't enough for you." The kid freezes in horror. He realizes Sibu is healing them just to torture them on loop. Infinite respawn glitch, but for pain. Round 3. Sibu asks again, "Who do you work for?" The apprentice breaks, begging the old man to talk. Finally, the elder wheezes out a name, Beast. A satisfied smile cuts across Min Sibu's face. "Gotcha. That's the organization he's been hunting." Suddenly, the old man clicks on why Sibu's moves felt so familiar. The realization hits like a truck. He screams, "You're the Mad Dog, one of the 3 Supreme Masters who vanished ages ago." Info secured, Min Sibu leans in, close to the battered body. Let's cut to the chase. He charges a monosphere in his palm, eyes locked on the apprentice. "Do you know the snake-faced scumbag I'm looking for?" Here's the twist. Beast isn't just some street gang. It's a straight-up league of assassins, dedicated exclusively to hunting hunters. In the underworld, they're royalty. Total influence, lethal skills, and a zero-failure record. The old man spills his guts. He was a first-gen hunter, forced into the fold with no other choice. He explains the Silence Pact, an ironclad tradition, to keep secrets among comrades, an unwritten rule binding every member until death. For 15 years, he served without blinking, convinced he'd die for the cause. But Sibu's endless cycle of death and resurrection broke his spirit. He finally waved the white flag. Then the apprentice drops a bombshell. The target's codename is Black Mamba. It all fits. And get this, he confirms the guy is definitely part of the crew. Min Sibu makes a face. He finds the alias totally cringe and asks, "That trash works for you?" He fires back another question. He wants to know if they were behind Hunter Min Jung's death back in the day. His aura turns heavy, suffocating, demanding an answer. The apprentice hits the floor, writhing in pain, crushed by a killer instinct so intense. He can only wonder what kind of demon is standing in front of him. The old man clarifies that members operate in cells they don't even know each other. Their only job was breaking Volk out of prison. Also, Beast expects him at a biennial meeting in 1 week. Desperate to survive, the assassin coughs up the coordinates. This guy is literally kissing the dirt, prostrating on the ground and begging for his life, desperate for the master to take them in as servants. The Shaolin apprentice looks like he's about to throw up, screaming that there is absolutely no way this is happening. He's pleading with Min Si-woo to reject them, but the MC catches a tiny detail: the kid just called him boss. The kid breaks it down. Using the Asura art means Si-woo knows his master, so they gotta be tight, or at least friends. Maybe he even taught the master. He offers to be an apprentice too, but Si-woo cuts him off, clearly annoyed. Zip it. Si-woo eyes go cold. He needs intel on Black Mamba, not a fan club. But then, the realization hits him: if he lets these guys walk, the Beast Assassin Guild finds out he exists. And that's a massive problem. Suddenly, he flips the script and takes the deal, leaving the apprentice totally confused. The old-timer is hyped, thanking him profusely, but Si-woo raises a finger. One condition: absolute, undying loyalty. They have to take the mana oath. Volk starts tweaking, yelling that it's basically a slavery contract, but the old man shuts him down instantly. Quiet, unless you have a death wish. 0 options left. They step into the glowing magic circle on the forest floor, while Si-woo spins up a mana disc and orders them to link up. As the ritual peaks, names drop. The old man is Red Ghost. The other guy, Cherry Volk. The pact is sealed. Predator is loving this inside his head. They own them now. Si-woo makes it official. You're mine. In exchange, Total protection. The contract blazes on a floating scroll. Done deal. Both of them bow low before their new master. But the Shaolin kid throws a massive tantrum, threatening to snitch on Siwoo to the association. Siwoo hits him with a death stare. Say that again? The kid freezes solid. Siwoo grabs the scroll. He confirms the beast meeting is next week. Then, he drops a bomb on the kid. Hey, want to be my direct disciple? The boy explodes with joy. Master. Siwoo smirks. Yeah, that is exactly what he wanted to hear. Squad assembled. He figures 4 people are enough to wreck everything. But he smiles. He's gonna need a cleaner for the mess they will make. Smash cut to the prison. Alarm bells are ringing. A guard screams. The prisoner escaped during transport. The high command goes ballistic. Was the HMCS security just for show? The hunter tries to make excuses. Siwoo was a blur, too fast to track. The director doesn't care. Bring that recruit here to apologize. Now. But then, the plot thickens. The hunter drops a fact. There were 5 to 10 guards in that convoy. The director stops cold. What? He remembers clearly he only authorized 1 guard. Something smells fishy, extremely suspicious. The director stands up, fuming, but the hunter stops him with a bombshell revelation. The prisoner confessed to bribing a high-ranking official. The HMCS is launching a full-blown internal investigation. They are tearing the facility apart looking for clues. He demands the director's full cooperation, firm and unyielding. The director has no choice but to fold. Back to the main plot. Siwoo gets wind of the bribery investigation. Suddenly, Byung bursts in, totally confused. Who is the grandpa sipping tea? And who is the sweaty guy in the hood shaking in the corner? Siwoo responds by smacking Byung into a chair. Sit down. It is a long story. Gang's all here. Siwoo takes a seat. Here is the plan. We are crashing the beast meeting. An event with 8 elite assassins? Byung turns pale. Are you insane? Siwoo just flashes a wicked grin. The objective is simple, he says, eyes gleaming with danger. He wants total annihilation, no games. Meanwhile, at the beast hideout, one of the members looks around the room. Wow, decent turnout for once, he remarks with a sneer. A girl immediately starts whining. Where are Red Ghost and Volk? The guy shuts her down. Traitors don't count. A blue-haired kid grins like a maniac. Ooh, can I be the one to hunt them down? Another girl pouts. She is not mad about the treason, she is mad. Volk promised her a trip to the amusement park. What a jerk for getting my hopes up, she huffs, calling him ridiculous. A scarred man snaps. Quit yapping. He reminds everyone that the leader decides the punishment for rats. From the shadows, the leader speaks. He admits he loves the chaos, but losing 3 members? That stings. Anyone got something to say? Silence fills the room. He laces his fingers, thinking deep. Dealing with this little glitch, he proposes a straight-up death match. Winner gets the pleasure of executing the punishment. The room goes dead silent, the kind of heavy silence that freezes blood in your veins. Finally, one guy mutters, "Not funny, bro." Another cuts through the tension. The real issue is the leak. The rats know exactly where and when we're meeting. One killer scoffs. Please, those weaklings wouldn't dare attack us. Beep, beep. Right on cue, the alarm screams. Intruder alert blares over the speakers. Everyone goes full combat mode. The boss? He just calmly asks, run that by me again? Still in shock, a grunt confirms they've got guests. Split up. Cover the sectors. They scatter down all 5 routes. But wait, someone notices Porcupine and Black Mamba aren't moving an inch. Porcupine yawns, looking bored. Killing scrubs? Not my vibe. I'm staying here to play some games. The boss sighs with a creepy calmness. Shame. I should have told them to keep the heads attached. Gonna need 'em for ID later. Smash cut to Byung. He's cursing his life, realizing he just won the lottery from hell. Flashback 30 minutes ago. Minsu's squad hits the hideout. The old man lays out the blueprint. 5 entrances, rigged with sensors, and the internal layout shifts like a puzzle box. Total nightmare. They all lead to the main hall, but the timing is tricky. Minsu calls the play. We split up. Take different doors. Surround them. He checks Byung. You got the comms? Byung taps his gear. Solid. The order is clear. Stay sharp. If you spot a monster, radio it in as soon as possible, especially if it's the main target, Black Mamba. Snap back to reality. Byung remembers everything going smooth. Until it absolutely wasn't. He hits a dead end. Only option? Go full action hero and crawl through the air vents. Surprise. The vent dumps him straight into the main hall. No guards. Suspiciously empty. His gut sinks. His team is fighting at every door, and regrouping is going to take forever. He makes a choice: thin the herd right now. Suddenly, a marble rolls across the floor with a weird sound. An assassin spots it and crouches down. What the? A voice echoes, asking Porcupine. Yeah, her. Hey, do you like slot machines? She grins. Love 'em. Hit the jackpot just yesterday, she brags, reaching for the shiny object. Boom! She gets ragdolled across the room as dust chokes the air. The voice quips, "Game over." Black Mamba doesn't even flinch. Looks like a rat snuck in. Byung doesn't wait, he lobs another grenade. Mamba catches it mid-air like a baseball. "Nice ambush," he says, as the grenade detonates in his bare hand. The smoke clears. Mamba, barely a scratch. "I prefer face-to-face," he growls. Byung drops from the ceiling. No time to breathe. Mamba strikes, clocking him as a HMCS hunter. The impact sends Byung skidding back. Byung struggles up, frustrated. He only took out one pawn. The leader sits there, untouched, not even using powers, just chilling. Mamba sneers. "Did those rats sell us out?" Byung spits blood, defiant. "So what if they did?" The villain just laughs. "They betrayed the organization knowing the price?" Mamba mocks. "Threw their lives away for a bunch of B-list heroes." That hit a nerve. Byung roars and launches himself at the monster. Cling. Mamba blocks with claws, then fires bone daggers that scream through the air. The leader watches from the shadows, entertained. "Not bad technique," the boss muses. But then, Byung realizes Mamba's power, psychokinesis. He curses the villain's insane durability and mana regen. But Mamba grins. "Warm-up's over, kid." He rushes in like a freight train. Crash. Byung gets plastered against the wall, debris flying everywhere. "Can I finish him?" Mamba asks. The boss nods. Green light. Byung's body is broken. He claws for his radio to scream that the target is here, but the words won't come out. Mamba stomps his face. Crunch. "No backup call for you." "Too late for that," Mamba whispers. Then, with twisted curiosity, "Who's coming to save you? The Ghost Branch Chief? That wolf guy? Or someone else?" He smiles. "Maybe the whole squad came to die." The snake villain coils, ready for war. He stands tall against the intruders. He thinks he's in control, until another explosion rocks the foundation. He freezes, totally caught off guard. He didn't expect the whole squad to pull up. Then he locks eyes with them, the beast killers. They got wrecked. Honestly, it was embarrassing. The leader is losing it, swearing he hired top-tier talent, dropped faster than flies. But Black Mamba isn't buying it. He scans the bodies. Those wounds tell a completely different story. This was a straight-up brawl. The team is standing tall, but they're banged up. Those alternate routes took a toll, and it shows. He admits it's sus that Tiger and Grizzly went down so fast. Then boom, he stomps the ground, shaking the entire room. Concrete cracks and debris floats up, swirling like a shield to freak them out. But Jamin? He is done with the monologues. "Shut your mouth." Jamin explodes in a crimson aura, launching himself forward for a reckless, fury-fueled strike. Black Mamba blocks it like it's nothing. White Lion Guild Hunter. Huh? He glides backward, smooth as silk. "You're not HMS. What's your business here?" But as he retreats thud, he bumps into someone. "My bad," he mutters. "Clumsy me." Down on the floor, the old man hacks up a lung. "None of this makes sense," he wheezes. The villain laughs. "You call this teamwork? It's pathetic. Your stats are all over the place. Zero synergy." Black Mamba narrows his eyes. "Who's pulling the strings here? Who assembled this ragtag suicide squad?" Enter Min Sigu. He strolls in, dragging an assassin by the hair like a sack of trash. Message received. "We own this room." Jamin blinks. "How'd you get here so fast?" Simple answer, the master. He showed up mid-fight, barked orders to rush the center. Probably did the same for Volk and the old man. The plan changed. Just hold the target. Volk grunts, annoyed. "Taking down an A+ rank alive? You're asking for a miracle, kid. Especially that slippery snake." The old man nods grimly. Black Mamba. Shapeshifter. Insane speed, brutal strength. Did they walk into a trap? Or is the enemy leader playing 4D chess? Crow watches from the shadows, eyes narrowing. Something's fishy. Clack. She slams her staff down. A glowing rune burns into the floor, tracking spell active. She points at Volk. "Bag the snake," she commands. The werewolf groans about the workload. Jamin leaps in for a cheap shot, but Mamba isn't having it. Crunch. Mamba slams Jamin into the concrete with a ruthless stomp. "Game over?" "Not yet." The old man snags him with magic. "You're grounded until the master gets here," he warns. Skill activated. Binding formation. Glowing mana chains erupt, locking down every enemy in the room. Even Crow gets wrapped up in the old man's steel web. "Struggle all you want," the old man boasts. "That's a legendary tier bind. You're not going anywhere." Crow smirks. "Your new boss has style, traitor." Then, snap, she shatters the chains like they were made of glass. The old man's jaw hits the floor. Impossible force. Suddenly, whoosh, the porcupine assassin comes flying back into the frame, leaving Byung paralyzed in shock. Black Mamba decides he's bored, ripping his own chains apart. Clock's ticking. Idiots. Reinforcements are inbound. "We scrub this place clean." He triggers his ultimate. Draconian transformation. Scales ripple over his skin. A massive lizard man stands there, hissing one command. Just die already. Jaemin yells, Byung, your ribs are toast. They're shattered. Normal steel won't cut it against this thing. The strategy shifts instantly. Don't engage, just run and dodge. Jaemin feels the mana pressure, it's suffocating. He manipulates the terrain. I'm the tank now. He knows the score. Victory is off the table. Buying time is the only win condition. Worse news, Volk is tangled up with Porcupine. Jaemin's on his own. He grits his teeth. Guess I'm carrying the team today. This is gonna be rough, huh? But he lunges, burying his blade into the monster's hide. Got him. Toxic green smoke hisses from the wound. Okay, it bleeds. Byung watches, trembling, as the giant snake shifts. Elemental corruption magic. The air fills with spectral daggers. Then the villain spins, tearing the very floor apart. Debris rains down like meteors. Jaemin screams, Byung, heads up, 12 o'clock. A massive boulder is plummeting straight for him. Rookie mistake, the creature sneers. Never turn your back. Wham! A direct hit sends him flying, smashing into the ground and carving out a crater. The monster turns its cold eyes on Byung. You, official hunters never learn, do you? A massive claw wraps around Byung's throat, lifting him up. Did you really think my HQ wouldn't have security measures? Across the room, the assassin is relentless, slashing at Volk. Why won't you just die? Then, the other shoe drops. The floor isn't just concrete, it's a minefield. Tracking spells, self-destruct runes. Your fate was sealed the second you stepped into my den, the villain growls. He sighs, tightening his grip. I'm bored now. Stop squirming and die quietly. Suddenly, the air shifts. The monster's survival instinct screams, danger. He releases the chokehold and leaps back, just missing a lethal strike from the shadows. Enter the protagonist. He stalks toward the beast, leaving Byung speechless. Crack. One brutal, decisive blow that screams, I run this show. A wicked grin stretches across his face. Finally found you, you slippery bastard. No warning, no hesitation. Porcupine lunges, looking for the kill, but she doesn't even make it halfway. A web of jagged lightning snatches her midair and slams her into the concrete. She's out cold. The beast leader watches, stunned. This guy didn't just break in. He dismantled every single magical trap in the hall. That security system cost billions, gone in seconds. Min Si-woo stands there, calmly charging his energy, while Predator tosses out a lazy insult. To Si-woo, the leader's magic was child's play. And honestly, it was. Nullifying millions of dollars worth of spells without breaking a sweat? That's god-tier status. It's exactly why Crow looks like he just saw a ghost. Black Mamba finally reacts, blocking an attack while whining about the loud entrance. He admits he was caught off guard. He locks eyes with our main character, and the pieces click. He points a shaking finger. This is the villain who wiped out his entire hit squad. Si-woo is actually offended. Being called a villain by a literal assassin? The audacity. The beast leader turns to Mamba, asking if he messed with the wrong people. Mamba denies it, but the monster reads the room instantly. This reeks of revenge. Si-woo nods sharp guess. Tracking this guy was a nightmare since he never leaves traces. So yeah, it's definitely payback. But before ending him, Si-woo needs answers. He strikes an overwhelming blast of power, detonates, sending Black Mamba flying across the room. Mid-air, the assassin tries to figure out who the hell this guy is. Si-woo commands him to shut his mouth. From the sidelines, the beast leader watches the beatdown unfold. She's wondering what kind of monster she's dealing with. Mamba is spiraling, he never imagined. Someone could reflect his own magic back at him. He can't comprehend how he was found, or how this guy moves with such glitch-like speed. Bam! Another hit. The assassin spits a mouthful of blood, admitting he's never faced a fighter like this in his life. He prided himself on knowing every elite hunter in the game. But this guy? He's a total ghost. Si-woo unleashes a terrifying dark aura. Mamba screams, asking what he wants. Si-woo answers by stomping directly on his spine. He still doesn't get it. Si-woo grinds Mamba's face into the floor tiles, reminding him who's in charge. Another stomp to the back, warning him to stay quiet unless he wants to die by accident. The assassin gasps, begging for mercy. Si-woo grabs his jaw and gets straight to business. Higher than the VIPs. His eyes are burning with rage. Who ordered the hit on Minjun? The name freezes Mamba in place. He flashes back to the historian, Minjun. A nervous chuckle escapes his lips. So, Min Si-woo was connected to that kid? Our MC is out of patience. Talk now, unless that contract loyalty is worth more than his life. Gathering his last scrap of courage, the assassin nods. It is. He reveals a glowing magic seal on his tongue. Even if he spoke, Si-woo's ears would melt before he heard the truth. He spits on Si-woo, flashing a sick, twisted smile. A pro never gives up a client. That's the last straw. Si-woo wipes the spit off his cheek, absolute fury radiating from him. If he won't talk the easy way, he'll talk the hard way. Siwoo flares a golden healing aura. Mamba's eyes go wide with horror. You're a healer too? Panic sets in. He screams for his leader to save him, but she claims she's too surrounded to help. Trapped and terrified, Mamba breaks. He promises to spill everything. He starts to say the name Pandey. And snap. His head explodes like a melon. Siwoo stands there, frozen, processing that incomplete word. Pandemonium. From a distance, the beast leader smirks. Everything went exactly according to plan. With a single gesture, she unleashes a shockwave that knocks back everyone in the vicinity. Now she faces him directly, smiling. She knows exactly who he is. She drops his full name and legendary title, Mad Dog, Min Siwoo, the first-generation hunter who vanished 10 years ago. He doesn't flinch. Are you with Pandemonium too? He asks. She shakes her head. They're freelancers, not corporate shills. He figured it out based on her power level and her reaction to the name. Siwoo warns her if she's lying, he'll know. She assures him she's keeping it 100. She knows he gets it. She wonders why the world forgot about him. Then, she snaps her fingers, waking up the girl, Yewa Porcupine. Instantly, a massive explosion rocks the entire building. It was a self-destruct sequence. Floating high above the smoke, the leader and Yewa look down. They ask if the Mad Dog cares to join them. Siwoo declines. He's good. He got the only clue he needed. She smiles, understanding completely. See you around, she teases, vanishing into a portal. Afterward, View looks worried. Siwoo explains that the self-destruct spell was going to trigger no matter what they did. He tells him to clean up the mess. Mission accomplished. Crunching over the debris, Siwoo's mind is locked on one word, pandemonium. He stands in silence, wondering what the hell Min Jun actually discovered. Min Siwoo is smashing keys on his computer, his eyes locked on the screen, but his brain is stuck on a loop. One name keeps flashing in his mind like a glitchy pop-up. Pandemonium. Flashback to 20 years ago. The first gate cracks open, unleashing way more than just nightmare fuel and shiny loot rocks. Mana flooded the world, the ultimate power source. Then came the demons, interdimensional beings who wielded that juice like they owned the copyright. Acting like they were the main characters, they capitalized on Earth's total meltdown and crowned themselves supervisors. They seized control of the gates and treated humanity like absolute trash mobs. But amidst the wreckage, some people actually simped for them. They bent the knee, formed a fan club for the Demon Lord, and branded themselves Pandemonium, a cult dedicated to serving the invaders. Thankfully, the first-gen hunters figured out how to hack mana and put a stop to that tyranny. Game over for the bad guys. Humanity clutched the win, and peace finally respawned on Earth. Siwoo knows for a fact Pandemonium was disbanded way before he even soloed the Demon Lord. It's been 10 years, so why is this dead name resurfacing on his radar now? It doesn't add up. He shuts his eyes and pings Predator mentally. He needs intel. You remember those otherworld demons? Predator grunts a yes. Hard to forget. They were built different. They enslaved dragons, whole species. Predator growls, clearly still salty about something they stole from him. From what I saw, wouldn't be shocked if they pulled that stunt across the multiverse. Siwoo scratches his head, totally vexed. Back in the day, his strategy was just kill on sight, not analyze their psychology. He barely knows their mana signatures are weird, or that their human disguises have leveled up. Predator loses his chill. Just wipe them all out. Siwoo sighs. If only real life were that easy. The door creaks open. Enter Se-young. You're early, Siwoo notes, but his brother skips the pleasantries. What exactly went down in the office I gave you? Siwoo shrugs. Just used it as a hub to look into. Min Young. But Se-young cuts the act. He knows. He demands the tea on this secret squad Siwoo built and why he's ghosting. The Hunter Association. If Chairman Dae-soo finds out, Se-young warns, looking stressed, it's gonna get ugly fast. Siwoo doesn't even blink. Byung covered my tracks. Besides, Dae-soo doesn't scare me. Then he drops a bomb. I was actually planning to pay him a visit. The room temperature drops. Se-young freezes. Siwoo explains he's done playing 4D chess. He wants straight answers. Se-young lets out a heavy sigh. You haven't even recovered your full mana yet, he pleads. Stop being so reckless. Siwoo stands up, looming over the desk. Se-young's voice cracks. The world's changed, bro. I can't watch you put yourself in the crosshairs again. To kill the heavy vibe, Siwoo grabs his brother in a headlock and ruffles his hair. Chill out. I got this. Se-young struggles, fixing his hair. Fine. Just keep your promise to train the rookie, Se-young insists. Shin's ability is a nightmare to control. The protagonist picks his ear, looking bored. Yeah, I'll give him some pointers. Gurgle. His stomach roars like a beast. Feed me? He asks. Se-young stares, shocked by the guy's bottomless pit of a stomach. Suddenly, the phone rings. Inside his head, Predator is screaming for fried chicken. On the phone, Byung is screaming, Why'd you kick me off the case? Siwoo winces at the lecture, but Byung drops the bomb. The op leaked to the press. The news is blasting how the HMCS went rogue and wiped out a squad of killers. Over at the Chaos Queen Agency, it's a zoo. They're fighting off paparazzi. Jung is frantic. Director Baek is watching me like a hawk because your name isn't on the report. Byung is hyperventilating. How do I explain I soloed the whole squad? Siwoo yawns. Just ask Hamin to bail you out. Byung is practically begging, but our guy? He hangs up, cold. Priorities. Dinner first. He wanders off, grumbling. Can I get 1 minute of silence? He faceplants onto the couch and lies to Young. Byung is totally stoked about the job, by the way. Then he pivots. So, what's the deal with demons these days? Same as 10 years ago? Seong shakes his head. Nope. After they got wrecked, they begged for a peace treaty. They moved to Antarctica, set up some mana research lab. They keep their heads down. Zero drama, no public appearances. Honestly, most kids today think demons are just fairy tales. Siwoo isn't buying what they're selling. A peace treaty? Sus. Inside, Predator loses it. It's a total scam. I'm with you, Siwoo agrees. He stands up, pacing. But maybe, just maybe, there's a good apple in the bunch? Then it hits him, Crow's mana, that weird hybrid energy, part demon, part human. He stares at a photo on the desk. Initially, this was just a revenge run for his student, Minjun. But connecting the dots Minjun left behind, he realizes he stumbled onto a massive conspiracy. Scene shift. A young Minjun is marching straight toward that very Antarctic base. Frozen in Antarctica, Min Si-woo finally gets it. The war waiting for him isn't a sprint. It's a marathon way longer than he ever dreamed. Cut to a heavy flashback. Our MC stands tall before his students, barking orders to pool their mana right into their core. Jamin stares back like Si-woo is speaking Martian. He has zero clue what circulating mana even means. He immediately starts whining, claiming skills are just adrenaline rushes and meditation is a total snooze fest. Big mistake. Min Si-woo, clearly annoyed, bonks him on the head for begging for help just to be lazy. He drops some hard truth. Using skills is like running a race, but modern hunters, they're skipping leg day. They don't even know the basics. He makes it crystal clear. He's gonna teach them the stuff the tutorial tower was too lazy to cover. Listen up, mana is fuel, people. The reason Jamin can't feel his core, he's totally ignoring the fundamentals. Siwoo dives deeper into the lecture, breaking down the mana tank, the core. That's where energy stacks up to generate raw power and manifest as a skill. He taps Jamin's chest, showing him that a technique's true strength is all about controlling the flow. And get this, with the right grind, you can unlock even more power centers. Jamin is officially hooked. He's puzzling over the phrase Earth Time, while his hand starts glowing. The MC shuts down the Q&A, but Predator starts roasting him, reminding Siwoo it took him a literal century to master this stuff. He warns them, tomorrow's training, it's gonna be physically brutal. Suddenly, bam, the dorm door flies open. Enter Byung, looking desperate, screaming he's been hunting for Siwoo everywhere. Siwoo groans about his phone blowing up, but Byung cuts him off. They need to hit HQ, right now. Striding down the hallway, Siwoo asks what the regional director wants with him. He figures someone snitched. Byung denies it, clarifying it's all about that prison case. Suddenly, two guys block their path. One starts openly mocking Byung. Then, Changwon keeps the trash talk going, sneering and calling him a desk jockey. Byung is ticked off. How'd this guy get back from his mission so fast? He tells them to move, but the other guy claims he's just saying hi. Then he points at Min Si-woo, mentioning rumors that he caused. A massive mess. Min Si-woo looks visibly bored. He is so over this conversation. Tension spikes when Byung finally snaps, ordering the guy to step aside and quit the provocation. The sidekick doubles down on the mockery, saying they wouldn't get it since they've never left the country. Min Si-woo grits his teeth. He hates hearing them trash his team for doing the dirty work. He spins around, fixing the rookie with a look that is definitely not friendly. The rookie adjusts his glasses and scolds him, demanding he introduce himself to the veterans. Min Si-woo doesn't hesitate. He tells Four Eyes to get lost, along with his sweaty boss. That clapback earns a sinister grin from the bullies. Oh, they are ready to throw hands. The hand of Four Eyes is shaking with rage at Si-woo's audacity. He flares his mana, asking permission to teach this insolent brat a lesson. Right here, right now. But Byung shuts it down, reminding him they're inside the main building. Changwon explodes, screaming that Byung has no right ordering his squad around. Byung ignores him, and our MC finishes him off with a joke about his massive ego. Furious, Changwon swears he'll crush them, just to show who's boss. The shouting attracts stares and whispers from everyone. Just as he's about to attack, a voice cuts through the noise. Everyone already knows who's boss. At that exact moment, Branch Director Baek grabs him, declaring that the answer is him. Recognizing the big boss, Chang-won and his buddy turn pale, totally shocked. The director walks up to Min Si-woo and scolds Byung for letting things get out of hand. Then, he throws an arm around Min Si-woo, inviting him to try some exotic tea blend he brewed just for him. Chang-won tries to protest, but the director calls him by name, silencing him instantly. With a razor-sharp smile, he reminds him about the special perks he asked for in Japan and orders him to focus on his actual job. No room to argue, both guys take the L and stay quiet. From a distance, Chang-won wonders what makes this rookie so special that director Baek is hyping him up so much. Back in the office, the director says it's a pleasure to finally meet Hunter Min Si-woo in the flesh. Si-woo says the feeling is mutual, then asks straight up what he wants, making Byung sweat bullets. The director busts out laughing, loving the direct attitude. Then he drops the details, an escort mission at Incheon prison, all thanks to that recent beast incident. They've got the green light to investigate the agency's internal rot, but he emphasizes that the priority is hunting down that escaped prisoner. And he's grilling Min Si-woo hard, because let's be real, it's pretty sus that a powerhouse like him just lost the target. The director signals Byung to clear the room, and the subordinate practically teleports out of his chair to give them space. Before dipping, Byung shoots a mental my bad to our MC for abandoning him. Once the door clicks shut, Director Baek drops the tough cop act. He claims he's a reasonable guy who knows what's really up. He looks Si-woo dead in the eye and says, "I know you smoked that beast and the fugitive." Our boy just sits there, stone-faced, while the director rants about how they can't have a rogue awakened running loose in the streets. Suddenly, the vibe changes. Baek mentions he invited a special guest, a hunter, who has been dying to meet Si-woo. That catches our MC off guard. He slowly turns toward the entrance just as the director introduces a living legend. We're talking first-gen royalty, one of Korea's 3 venerables. The door swings open, and there he is, Do Kyung-ho. The guildmaster of Father Warrior radiates pure power. He casually twirls a liquor glass in his fingers like he owns the place. He pours a shot with a smirk, hitting Si-woo with the classic, "It's been way too long, hasn't it?" He admits he thought the news was a prank. I mean, the whole world was convinced Si-woo was 6 feet under. Min Si-woo just chills and replies, "It's a long story," keeping his cool while the tension builds. The director watches silently, trying to piece together the connection. Boom, reveal time. Do Kyung-ho isn't just a fan. He's Si-woo's old war buddy. The guildmaster can't hide his shock. He's staring at Si-woo like he's seen a ghost because the guy hasn't aged a single day. He demands answers. "Where have you been hiding?" Turns out Si-woo's disciples scoured the planet looking for him. Instead of dropping the lore immediately, Si-woo flashes a grin and raises his glass. "Let's keep drinking first." He warns them it's going to be a long night. Once the liquor is flowing, he finally spills the tea. Do Kyung-ho finally gets it. Min Si-woo wasn't dead. He was trapped in another dimension for 100 years. It was the Demon King's curse that held him. But the reunion vibe shatters when a massive truth bomb drops. The hunter freezes, brain buffering. Suddenly, bam! He slams his fist on the table, absolutely losing it. He's raging. How could you idiots sign a peace treaty while that monster was still breathing? The master tries to de-escalate, explaining that the Demon King is basically a vegetable, just a walking corpse. Get this, the demons themselves begged for the treaty, pinning the whole war on their previous boss. Si-woo argues they were just scared, but Kyung-ho reminds him that humanity was running on fumes. They couldn't handle another round. The planet was already wrecked from the first gate's opening and the endless monster waves. Add the demon war on top of that? Everyone was completely tapped out. Shockingly, the demons offered to help rebuild civilization and teach humans how to seal the gates. The price tag? They just wanted their king's body back and a quiet spot in Antarctica to call home. Back then, people were desperate for peace and trying to figure out this whole mana thing. So, the world leaders signed the paper, with Choi Dae-soo repping Korea. Since then, the demons have been ghosting humanity, staying in their icy lane. They only pop up when we need tech support, but some first-gen hunters never bought it, they just vanished. Do Kyung-ho admits he didn't care much either, until now. Because the math isn't mathing. He drops the real bombshell. Min Si-woo's name and title have been completely scrubbed from history. Every record from the last decade? Deleted. And all fingers point to that snake, Choi Dae-soo. The cover-up was so clean that even Kyung-ho couldn't recall Si-woo's face until he walked into this room today. It's terrifying that a war hero could be memory holed like that. Si-woo asks the obvious question. Did Dae-soo make a deal with the devils? Kyung-ho nods grimly. Dae-soo always had a massive inferiority complex and wanted to surpass Si-woo. Looks like his jealousy never faded. The director looks sick to his stomach at the thought of such high-level treason. Meanwhile, Si-woo is calculating. If Dae-soo is collaborating with demons, what does that bastard get out of erasing him? And what's in it for the demons, other than revenging their fallen leader? Kyung-ho warns him it's just a theory, they need receipts. But Si-woo is already seeing red. He can't forget who started this war. The scene shifts as Kyung-ho suggests a lead. Track down Si-woo's former disciples. They might know something, he urges. Si-woo hesitates, knowing it's not that simple since everyone split up. They all went their separate ways, but his friend drops a name. Jae-hwa is still here in Korea. Now she's leveled up to an S-rank hunter. Smash cut to her glow-up, transforming from a kid into a total powerhouse, leading the Blue Flower Guild. Min Si-woo flashes back to when she was his shadow, so seeing her on Dae-soo's payroll feels totally off. He takes a swig of his drink, muttering that people change, she's got her reasons. Then he grimaces at the taste, and Do-kyun roasts him, telling him to grow up and get a real palate. The guildmaster regrets ghosting Seyoung, but Si-woo insists it's for the best. They don't spot the stalker in the corner snapping a pic, a creepy grin plastered across their face. Cut to some guy on the phone, leaking intel to his boss about Min Si-woo's little meetup. On the other end, a mystery woman praises the hustle and orders an immediate extraction. Meanwhile, Yehwa's phone buzzes. She checks the notification, and her expression goes pitch black. She stares at the screen, frozen solid. It's him. The photo shows Min Si-woo's face, and her brain short-circuits, he's actually alive. Suddenly, the puzzle pieces fit. All those glitchy events in the tutorial tower finally make sense. Her knees give out. She slides down the wall, sobbing and whispering that her master has really returned. Tears are streaming down her face, emotions overflowing. She knew it, Sejun was acting shady for a reason. She never stopped hunting for him, even when everyone else threw in the towel. She checks the pic again, smiling because the guy hasn't aged a day. Then she snaps into action, jumping to her feet. She needs to see him right now. But Dae-soo steps into the hallway and drops her name, instantly freezing the room. The chairman looms over her, his presence heavy, and his glare cold. He asks where she's rushing off to, reminding her to call him uncle when nobody's watching. Yehwa grips her phone tight, faking a chill vibe and claiming it's nothing. But he clamps a hand on her shoulder, telling her that her panic says otherwise. He stares deep into her eyes, reading her like a book. A twisted smile forms on his lips as he confirms the rumors are legit. The mad dog is back. Dae-soo laughs in her face, saying she looks like a loyal puppy waiting for its master. He messes up her hair, calling her naive for getting her hopes up. Keeping his cool, the chairman reminds her she's his only niece, and he's not planning on letting her walk away. She snaps, smacking his hand away, and screaming that she only joined him to find her master. Then Dae-soo drops the bomb. He knew the whole time he only let her investigate, because she became a valuable asset. The truth hits her like ice, while he twists the knife, saying hunters aren't people, they're just expensive tools. Yehwa loses it, screaming he was never family. Min Si-woo was the one who saved her. But Dae-soo plays his dirtiest card. He asks what her precious master will think when he finds out about her dark past. Better choose wisely, because Si-woo doesn't forgive criminals like her bloodline. He turns to leave, tossing one last verbal dagger over his shoulder. She can try, but she'll never wash away her rotten origins. Left alone in the hallway, she clenches, her fist cursing him under her breath as her world collapses. Cut to a massive hangar where Shin and the squad are gearing up. She's scanning the crowd for a specific face while some random guy tries to flag her down. She walks up to Min Si-woo, acknowledging the guildmaster picked him as leader, but she's got questions about the two guys with the serial killer vibe standing next to him. Min Si-woo stays totally chill. He calls them his associates, kind of like rookies, but with a lot more mileage. That settled, Shin and her partner Kim introduce themselves to the group, but the huntress can't help, staring at the bald old-timer. You don't see an aura like that every day. Suddenly, the old hunter flashes a smile. That's way too friendly. She's totally thrown off. He compliments her manners, and a hyped-up Jisoo Shin promises to give 100%. The MC cuts in, scolding Kim and reminding him this is his second shot at life. Briefing over, the squad heads toward the entrance of Gate 5. The rookies admit they're jittery, but Min Si-woo is cool as a cucumber, calling it just a dimensional hallway. Just doors. Then one of them brings up the creepy rumors about people vanishing inside. The MC shrugs it off, they just got stuck. The veteran nods, adding that these gates are basically guild property now. He explains that portals have turned into a massive cash cow, packed with high-tier loot. Stepping through the warp, the vibe shifts instantly. They spawn into a gorgeous, high-def forest that has Jisoo totally starstruck, while the rookie looks like he's about to hurl his lunch. The new kid jinxes it immediately, bragging about 0 monsters on the radar. The bear groans at the attitude, and Min Si-woo has to explain that these days, they have literal boot camps for this stuff. Ever since the tower fell, guilds have been drafting awakened folks like pro athletes. But honestly, our main character thinks the system is broken. He thinks it produces trash-tier hunters who just want a participation trophy. He calls the rookies over and demands a skill check before they take another step. Naturally, the rookie throws a fit, asking why some random outsider is running the drill. He keeps whining about matchmaking, furious he's stuck with a partner who can't even cast a basic spell yet. But right on cue, she triggers it. A massive flashbang of light explodes, totally blinding everyone. It accidentally blasts her teammate. She starts stammering an apology, but the MC cuts the mic instantly. He tells her to save the sorries for when she actually messes up. Then, he tosses an item at her, demanding she catch it mid-air. She snatches it, reflexes on point, and realizes it's a riding crop. Mincy Wu explains it's a focus tool to stabilize mana, dropping some intel her brother already hinted at. She locks in, gripping the handle tight, and cues up the spell again. This time, the magic flow is smooth like butter. Her hater of a partner just stares, jaw on the floor, unable to process the level up. Suddenly, the radar pings red. A squad of goblins pops up on a ridge, and a veteran screams out a warning. Mincy Wu yells for everyone to stand down, only the rookies fight. The loudmouth kid goes pale as a sheet. Even as he's shaking, he tries to roast them, saying good luck not dying while he does all the work. From the backline, Predator notes the kid's skill is all graphics, no gameplay mechanics. The old man analyzes the stats and points out the kid is burning through his mana bar way too fast. These mobs are weak, but it's a Zerg rush. The rookie panics, mashing buttons as the goblins aggro onto him. He screams for a carry, begging Jisoo for help, but the lag is real. His mana hits 0, and he takes a critical hit straight to the face. He's down for the count, totally exposed. Seeing him in the red zone, Jisoo activates her focus mode and shouts her ultimate. Beast Tamer. The goblin that was about to finish him off suddenly freezes, glitching in midair. Under her control, the monster heals like a well-trained pup, awaiting commands. She points a finger at the downed hunter. She orders the creature to back off, and it obeys without hesitation. Feeling that main character energy, Jisoo turns to the group, asking for a rating on her performance. The mentors admit it's a super rare dominant skill, total S-tier potential. Predator is practically drooling, wanting to consume that power. The MC just shrugs, calling it not bad, but warns her she needs to multitask, because suddenly, Wave 2 starts spawning. Surrounded and with her teammate unconscious, the rookie starts freaking out. Cut to evening, Jisoo is thanking the MC profusely. She says she finally caught the rhythm of her powers. The bear is worried she looks like a ghost, but Mincy Wu calmly offers her an out, saying she can switch teachers if this is too hardcore. She smiles, declines the offer, and admits she needed that ego check. A few feet away, her partner is passed out cold, using the bear as a pillow. Jisoo realizes the skill is just hardware. Mastering the mana flow is the software. The MC nods, satisfied. She passed the vibe check, class dismissed. But suddenly, the group senses movement in the bushes. A massive crowd is approaching. Who are these NPCs, they wonder. Jisoo explains her guild is brokering a deal with Blue Flower for a new gate. Hearing Blue Flower, Min Si-woo's interest spikes, leaving the rookie completely out of the loop. Without a word, he ghosts the group, walking toward the newcomers while the young hunter tries to figure out the plot twist. A scout reports to Yewa that they found hunter corpses inside the gate. Their insides were liquidated. The guild leader's face goes instantly cold. She asks if it was an internal sabotage attack. Then, her sixth sense tingles. A familiar aura. A tiny smirk curls her lips as she whispers one word. Finally. Right on cue, our protagonist spawns in front of her with a casual wave. Your master returns and you don't even say hello? He asks, flashing a cocky grin. Yewa replies, You're finally back, master. He invites her to catch up, but she shuts him down cold, turning her back on him to handle business. Her guild members are confused. Why is the boss acting like an ice queen? Predator laughs at the rejection, saying he got friend-zoned at light speed, while the old man asks if that was really his student. She's got an attitude, the MC confirms, but something feels off. He replays the moment her eyes were glassy. Was she crying? Flashback time. We see a young Yehua sobbing and hiding until Min Si-woo discovers her. He slides in next to her, smirking like he owns the place, asking if she's crying because she just took a massive L. Then he ruffles her hair, totally unbothered, telling her if she's gonna bawl, do it loud and proud. She snaps back, obviously triggered. He's dropping secret techniques on Seong just because they share blood, while she claims she's a nobody, just some stray from the streets, zero value. She thanks him for the save, but basically tells him to get lost. He ignores the drama and keeps messing up her hair until she almost cracks a smile. Then the protagonist drops the main character line. Blood doesn't matter. We choose who we call family. From now on, she's the little sis, and he's the big bro. Flustered, Yewa shuts that down immediately. She doesn't need a brother like him. So he flips the script, threatening that tomorrow's training is going to be absolute torture. Back then, the last thing she wanted was to be sister-zoned. She wanted to be his partner, his equal, standing right beside him to build his dream world, especially since she caught feelings, major feelings, but she knows it's a dead end. She's the daughter of a criminal with a shady past. Even with her heart in a blender, she decides to fight for him, the man who gave her a second shot at life. She is absolutely down bad for him. Man, who understands these things? Anyway, smash cut. Yehua storms into Seyun's office. He looks totally shook. She drops the honorifics, calling him by name. The guy starts sweating, asking what's up. With a stone-cold look, Yehua says they need to talk. Serious business only. Meanwhile, Do Kyun-hoo tells Dae-soo that, somehow, he still trusts him. He brings up the glory days when the three venerable masters fought back-to-back to keep the world from burning. Dae-soo cuts the nostalgia trip short and tells him to get to the point. No hesitation, Do Kyun-hoo asks, "Did you meet Min Si-woo?" The guildmaster lets out a nasty, disrespectful laugh. "You think 10 years is enough to leash a mad dog?" He claims everyone has him wrong. He's not working for world peace or humanity. He grinds his teeth, mocking their old squad title as a joke. Then he snaps, voice booming, revealing his true colors. "I want to be supreme. It's all about absolute power, and mana is the only currency that matters." He straight up admits his goals align with the demons. Sure, the nations formed alliances out of necessity, and yeah, humanity survived, but that's just a bonus. He glares at Do Kyun-hoo. "You came here just to lecture me on history?" The old hunter doesn't blink, accusing him of making a dark pact and being the reason Min Si-woo disappeared. Dae-soo laughs it off, denying everything. He even gaslights him, suggesting a reunion of the three to prove it. Suddenly, a voice from nowhere says, "Sounds like a plan." The chairman freezes. The voice keeps talking. "Nothing to hide, huh? I've got some questions too." Right at that moment, Min Si-woo materializes on the terrace inside a glowing magic circle, right in their faces. Ice in his veins, he stares them down with zero emotion. "Long time no see, Choi Dae-soo." Correction. Min Si-woo is floating outside the building like gravity is optional, looking like he hasn't aged a day. After greeting the suits, mentioning it's been a while, he flexes a tiny bit of power. Boom, the massive glass window explodes into a million shards. As the glass rains down, Dae-soo just smiles through the chaos and says Min Si-woo's name. Showing zero fear, the legend descends smoothly, touching down on the floor like a feather. Casual as ever, he apologizes for the dramatic entrance, claiming he just wanted to skip the elevator. Then, he takes a few steps, and before security can even react, he says he has one question, straight for the jugular. 10 years ago, did you ally with Pandemonium and send me to the other side? The chairman cackles, telling him he's lost his edge if he's asking such stupid questions. But Min Si-woo isn't playing games. Dead serious, he demands an answer right now. Dae-soo starts laughing harder. "Did you enjoy your vacation? You look great." Suddenly, something flies through the air and smashes violently next to the president. The vibe in the room turns deadly. Si-woo, furious, threatens to rip him apart and scatter his blood across dimensions. "You want to live long enough to answer me?" He demands to know if Dae-soo partnered with the Pandemonium organization or had anything to do with Min Young's death. A terrifying dark aura explodes around him as he warns, "Don't you dare touch my students." Dae-soo, with a twisted grin, just goes, "Aha." He's not even flinching. He bursts into maniacal laughter, shouting, "That's the mad dog I remember." Min Si-woo cranks his power to the max, grinning back. "Good. I was missing the thrill of the battlefield anyway." Dae-soo explodes with a gnarly crimson aura, flexing that he's leveled up by crushing top-tier awakeners worldwide. Then he drops the gauntlet on his old rival. "You want the tea? You gotta bleed for it first." Min Si-woo smirks, accepting the invite. He knows violence is the only language this guy speaks. Just as they're about to throw hands, Do-kyun flashes between them like a glitch. The chairman screams for them to freeze, ordering everyone to chill out immediately. He reminds them this isn't the place for a boss battle. He checks the protagonist, warning that a brawl right here would pull way too much heat. The guy clicks his tongue, annoyed, but the master insists he stand down for Sejun's sake. It's a bad look if his brother's guild goes to war with the government. Seeing the mood kill, Dae-soo loses interest instantly. He whines that Do-kyun is always such a buzzkill. He gets all nostalgic about the old days, when they used to scrap without catching feelings. For him, those were the glory days, way better than this boring timeline. Finally, he spills the info. He had zero to do with Minjun getting deleted. He also clarifies that Yohua joined his squad by choice that's on her. He turns his back, tossing a comment over his shoulder to Min Si-woo. "Make an appointment if you want to play detective." Si-woo stands there silent, downloading every word. Next to him, Do-kyun lets out a heavy sigh of relief. At least they dodged a nuclear meltdown today. Cut to the next scene. Dae-soo steps into the elevator. With zero chill, he orders his assistant to shut his trap and stay in his lane. The kid shrinks back, terrified, stuttering a sorry. Then, the chairman demands an A-rank portal prep and orders Yo-Hwa to be brought to him. Flashback, 7 hours earlier, under a full moon. We see Yo-Hwa hitting up Sejun for intel on the guild. He reveals that the hunters found inside the portal had their insides completely liquefied. He theorizes it's either a busted unique skill or something they all ingested. Plus, they were all linked to this shady trading guild called YZ that's totally off the grid. Sejun listens close, then drops a rumor he dug up. Word on the street is that guild is run by a demon master. The reveal leaves him shook. Sejun asks for her source, but Yo-Hwa just says he's free to use the intel. She turns to Dip, promising to keep digging and keep him posted. Before bouncing, she begs him not to find her since Dae-soo has eyes on him and she's stressed about it. She also pleads for him to keep her visit a secret from the master. She's not planning a reunion. That confirms Sejun's suspicion. Yo-Hwa teamed up with Dae-soo just to track down Min Si-woo, but he doesn't get why she's still sticking with Dae-soo now that Si-woo is back. He recalls Si-woo had blind faith in his students, even though they always seem to be hiding a ton of secrets. Feeling uneasy, he sighs, wondering what Yo-Hwa and Shaolun are actually cooking up. Suddenly, Min Si-woo bursts into the room. Sejun jumps up, totally spooked, barely able to speak. The protagonist gives him a dead serious look and orders him to spill the beans, asking straight up if something's wrong with Yo-Hwa. Cut to the street. Yo-Hwa is standing there, waiting by a black sedan. Some suits approach her, dropping the news that the chairman needs to see her as soon as possible. She mutters, "That bastard," under her breath, but ultimately caves and tells them to drive. Flashback time. Rewind 10 years. We see Dae-soo right after our protagonist vanished. A demon subordinate from the Second Realm's demon lord spawns in front of him, making it crystal clear from the jump that Min Si-woo is extremely dangerous because he almost clapped a demon lord. A human nearly taking out one of their own? That's not an accident. That's a direct threat. He proposes a team-up, but Dae-soo isn't buying the hype. He reminds the demon that deal or no deal, humans won the war. Then he drops the uncomfortable question. Why would he help demons who are about to get deported to Antarctica? The demon doesn't flinch. He reveals they've been stalking him and know he's feeling empty now that the war's over. He also knows Dae-soo wants to test his strength with zero limits. He hits the bullseye. The hunter's only wish is to face enemies that actually challenge him. With that, he dangles a carrot. He can unlock Dae-soo's max potential and let him completely dominate mana. Dae-soo clutches his stomach, realizing the demon wants more than just to erase history. He counters with a doubt. If he gets that strong, won't he become a threat to them too? The creature replies that demons only desire cracking the ultimate code on mana and portals. With that mic drop, he spins around and walks off, betting everything that the answer is coming. Right there, in that heavy silence, South Korea's apex predator makes a choice that's going to change the game forever. Cut to the present. Dae-soo is standing at an F-rank gate, but it looks more like a graveyard, just dust and silence. Then, an assistant steps through the rift, reporting mission accomplished. The guild owns this turf now, and there's absolutely zero survivors left breathing. Dae-soo nods at the clean sweep and checks on the invitation. The nervous rookie confirms it's sent but stutters that the summit is tomorrow. Dae-soo cuts him off. He knows the schedule. He barks at them to get lost. The minions scramble to leave, one guy sighing at the disrespect. But the second the room clears, Ye-hwa storms out of the portal, demanding to know why she was dragged here. Dae-soo shoots her, a glare watch the attitude. Walls have ears. She doesn't back down, getting right in his face. That's when he drops the bomb. He knows she's suspicious. She thinks he's behind the MC's disappearance. He sets the record straight 10 years ago. He told the demons to kick rocks. He never worked with them. But yeah, he admits he let them wipe Min-woo's records because, frankly, he didn't give a damn about the guy's legacy. Ye-hwa loses it. She can't believe he's this heartless. Dae-soo keeps talking. He admits he was always uneasy. Not about being president, though. It was the doubt. He needed to know who was the true alpha, him or the so-called mad dog. Furious, Ye-hwa calls him a total scumbag and flares her aura. She lunges at him, screaming that he's been in bed with the demons since day one. It all clicks for her now. He always knew exactly what was going down. She leaps for the kill, shouting about her master vanishing, and his name being dragged through the mud. But Dae-soo catches her attack with one hand like it's nothing. The power gap is insane. He trash talks her. She's reckless and slow, just like her mother, and blasts her back. The ground instantly shatters. Dust clouds explode, and a crater opens up where she lands. He tells her the brutal truth. She's just a tool to pump up the hate for the mad dog. He confesses that his inferiority complex has been haunting him like a ghost for years. And now that the MC is back, it's time to exorcise that demon. Even while bleeding out, Ye-hwa laughs, doubting that her master would fall for such a cheap trap for someone like her. But with zero hesitation, Daesu guarantees it. He knows the MC is going to react exactly on script. He stomps on her, admitting he never bought Minwoo's happy family act. But the look in Minwoo's eyes, that night proved him wrong. That's why she's the bait. She's the only card that can trigger a death match. Then, he summons a glowing magic chain and starts binding his hostage. The shackles wrap around Yehua as she screams. Completely pinned down, he explains that even an S-rank hunter couldn't break these cuffs. Smiling like a villain, he orders her to stay alive until her hero arrives. That's her only job. She struggles, calling him absolute garbage. Suddenly, the whole place shakes. Something is coming from the sky. Minwoo crashes down like a meteor, smashing into the earth. With pure violence, the impact sends rocks flying everywhere. Daesu screams in pure euphoria. Finally, history gets rewritten. Everyone's gonna watch this relic die and hail him as the strongest alive. But Minwoo steps out of the dust with a dark smirk, calling the guy's speech total nonsense. He attacks instantly, tearing up the terrain and rushing the president. At breakneck speed, Daesu manages to block and bursts out laughing. Even as he gets pushed back, he calls Minwoo mediocre, claiming that 10 years of rust have created a massive power gap between them. The predator warns that they can't fight like this, but Minwoo doesn't care. He flares his power to the max. He's going all out. In this brawl, Minwoo stares him down and tells the predator to shut up. He's finishing this. The parasite chimes in, warning that Daesu is a monster, and breaking his own limits right now is going to have nasty consequences. Minwoo ignores it, calculating coldly that 50% of his power is plenty to snag the win. Daesu mocks him immediately, asking if the big bad Minwoo is actually scared. No more talking. They launch at each other, ready for the first major collision. Minwoo even tells the president that he doesn't need full throttle to crush a piece of trash. The impact triggers a massive explosion. Yehua realizes it instantly. This isn't a normal fight. It's a clash between awakened beings. She's frozen, unable to even track their movements because the speed is just too god tier. Suddenly, Daesu manifests a gigantic red spear and cackles maniacally, completely drunk on the adrenaline. He screams that this is what real freedom tastes like, shattering every limit with a totally unhinged grin on his face. He vows to drown himself in the raw essence of mana. But Minwoo just scoffs, roasting him for still playing with vintage toys like a total noob. Then he sketches a magic circle in the air, summoning a massive earth wall to tank the incoming hit. That red spear obliterates everything in its path. Predator screams in pure terror, questioning if Daesu is even human or just a straight-up monster. The MC just watches the chaos, noting that the guy has always been reckless and built like a tank. Wasting zero time, he spawns a weapon, pointing out that Daesu is acting way more like a beast than a man right now. He floats up with a chill laugh while the president charges, cloaked in crimson energy. Daesu fires off a barrage of swords, but Minwoo casually preps his counter. The president roars that he is going all out, unleashing a point-blank energy blast. The attack slams into a shield. Daesu instantly mocks him, claiming that defense is way too flimsy to hold him back. Spiderweb cracks spread across the barrier as he taunts Minwoo, asking if that is seriously the best he has got. A massive hammer materializes in Daesu's grip. He wants to test that shield's durability limit and unloads his full strength. The impact nearly shatters the defense completely. Minwoo reacts instantly, shouting Frostfang and summoning a barrage of ice lances. A razor-sharp hailstorm rains down on the president, leaving him zero room to dodge. The spears converge and detonate right in his face, creating a massive sphere of blue energy. The hammer clatters to the floor. Daesu admits the mad dog still packs a heavy punch and has a nasty bite to match. Barely breaking a sweat, Minwoo tells him to shut his mouth and release the hostage if he wants to keep breathing. He clarifies that he knew Jo-Ah was bait all along and his mission here is done. The president just grins, claiming that is not enough. He knows Minwoo can do way better than that. Plus, he drops a warning. Jo-Ah is still useful, so she stays tied up. He screams that she should be grateful to have a purpose, calling her a killer's daughter. Furious, she demands he shut his trap. Fighting back tears, she begs Siwoo not to do anything stupid. But the MC turns to her, and with a dead calm voice, tells her to stay exactly where she is. Then, he unleashes his power, warning that he doesn't want to see her catch a stray bullet in this fight. The president is shocked by the sudden vibe shift, but quickly smiles and shouts that he actually missed this dark, terrifying aura. Gripping his spear, he declares that the real fight starts right now. Minwoo charges in full tilt, ordering him to shut the hell up as he launches his attack. The president raises a shield, instantly realizing the MC's mana density has completely shifted gears. The impact is so devastating that Daesu gets dragged across the ground. Even then, he mocks him, claiming that Minwoo hasn't changed a bit, he is still holding back. The MC fires back that Dae-soo is still just as reckless as ever. He unleashes a burst of energy. Furious, Dae-soo screams that he isn't the same man he used to be. Min Si-woo drives his sword into the ground, stating he has learned a lot over time. But Dae-soo raises his weapon and warns that their last clash made one thing crystal clear. Suddenly, red energy wraps around Min Si-woo, catching him off guard. The president lunges with an energy blade, screaming that Min Si-woo is no longer, completing the sentence with pure venom, insisting the hero is no match for him now. The attack lands a direct hit, triggering a gigantic red explosion that shakes the entire battlefield. From a distance, Joa screams her man's name in pure desperation. She watches with her heart in her throat, unable to see a thing through the smoke. Then, a voice cuts through the chaos, thanking Dae-soo for saving him the trouble of saying that himself. It's the MC. He blocked the hit cold and warns him with absolute firmness. The president has zero chance, and he freezes. His legendary sword, the one that slices through buildings like paper, was just stopped effortlessly. He can't comprehend how the kid blocked it with just one arm. And to top it off, Min Si-woo doesn't even flinch. He mocks him, reminding him that spending 10 years beating up scrubs wasn't exactly a huge flex. He pulls Dae-soo in close and drops the truth bomb. He survived over 100 years in literal hell. The response is instant. The president eats a massive punch. At full power, feeling an absurd amount of force explode right in his face. The impact sends him flying, unleashing a shockwave that rocks the area. He smashes into a stone wall, reducing it to dust. Blood dripping down, he starts laughing. Finally, someone actually managed to hurt him. He hasn't bled in ages. And he finds that interesting. He stands up, taps his watch, and announces it's time to take things to the next level. It turns out there is a law forcing SS rank hunters to wear a special limiter bracelet, a high-tech dampener designed to nerf his mana and skills, stopping him from becoming a walking public hazard. Dae-soo rips the device off and spikes it into the concrete, finally shedding the dead weight that's been exhausting him for ages. Our MC flashes a wicked smirk and roasts him, saying that collar is the perfect fit for a wild animal like him. Straight up calls him trash. Then he drops the question, did he really climb to the presidency just to unlock that bracelet? The chairman shoots back that it wasn't the only reason, but to him, this is the golden ticket. He roars that he finally gets to test his limits against a target that won't break in 5 seconds. Min Si-woo clenches a fist, looking totally unimpressed, and notes that Dae-soo was always all bark and no bite. His aura starts spiking violently. He drops into a combat stance, daring the guy to make a move. Suddenly, a blinding flash of light wipes out the entire frame. Boom! The energy clash quakes the ground. They collide with god-tier force, sending a brutal shockwave ripping through the dungeon. The pressure is so insane that Yohwa gets ragdolled across the room. She looks up, realizing the gravity of the situation. Their leaking mana is trashing the portal. It's going to destabilize any second now. Panic starts setting in. If her master's power leaks into the real world, civilians are going to get hurt. Locked in on that fear, she scrapes together every ounce of strength. She shatters her chains to jump in. But the two titans are trading blows at a pace that defies physics. They're moving faster than the eye can track. In the middle of the mayhem, Dae-soo manifests a colossal hammer and slams it down, cratering the floor and launching debris everywhere. Min Si-woo claps back, activating a skill to spawn a squad of clones that rush the enemy all at once. The combo attack starts cracking Dae-soo's defense wide open. The guy can't hide his shock at the power gap. He didn't expect to get outclassed, even with his limiters off. Bleeding but losing his mind, he busts out a maniacal laugh and summons a rain of swords to shred the area. Then he grips, his spear shaft tight, winding up for a secret art. He hurls the weapon with max power straight at Min Si-woo, unleashing a torrent of red energy. The spear morphs into a gigantic spirit tiger, roaring across the arena, but the MC catches the beast right by the jaws. That's when it clicks. This is the artifact's sealed power. He yells Predator, triggering his tamer skill to hijack the beast's loyalty instantly. Pure horror washes over Dae-soo's face. He demands to know what kind of broken abilities Si-woo farmed over the last 10 years. Skill activated, the energy tiger flips sides, now completely under the MC's command. With a chill smile, he declares himself the new alpha and orders the beast to feast on his enemy. The chairman, absolutely livid at the disrespect, curses him out. Meanwhile, Yohwa sprints toward them, screaming desperately for a ceasefire. She begs Min Si-woo to look around, trying to show him the catastrophe they're causing. She explains that the portal is crumbling and magic is about to leak to the other side. She warns them that, even if Dae-soo runs the country, he'll still have to answer to the international tribunal. He just blows off the warning. Smirking, he calls her an insolent brat. That's when Yohwa drops the bomb she already pinged the association. And the gate is reopening soon. She steps closer, voice cracking. begging her master to end the brawl. Min Si-woo goes silent for a beat, just staring at his former student. Suddenly, the bracelet, tossed on the floor, starts beeping like crazy. Dae-soo answers, demanding to know who's interrupting. A guy named Edward from HQ is on the line. He says it's a code red, and they need him there, like, yesterday. The president mutters a furious damn it, but agrees to handle it. Then he turns on Yewa. He snaps that taking in an ungrateful wretch like her was a mistake. Immediately, he claims he's bored of this duel and orders Min Si-woo to get out of his face. He storms off without looking back. With him gone, the dust starts to settle, and the battle fizzles out. Yo-hwa collapses to her knees, totally wrecked. Because now her master knows her darkest secret. She wonders if she needs to confess that she's the daughter of a criminal. Then Min Si-woo walks up and gently pats her head. He just asks if she's okay. Stunned by the vibe check, she looks up and realizes her master is still the same kind soul she remembered. Even after all the drama, she can't hold it back anymore. She hugs him tight and breaks down sobbing. Keeping it light, he jokes that she's still got energy to burn. Or rather, she's pushing herself way too hard for her master. Dae-soo doesn't miss a beat. He claims the intel on the hunter is total fake news. He points at Yewa without blinking and says he'll take the heat for her false alarm. He even has the nerve to mock them, spinning it as just a closed-door training session and saying everyone needs to chill out. The screen flickers to life, revealing the heavy hitter himself, VP of HMCS International. Edward Blackwood isn't buying the act. He shuts it down, reminding Dae-soo that the brawl went down way before the chairman unlocked his limiters. He drops the hammer. SS rank hunters are strictly banned from throwing hands in private disputes. It's a major violation. If a fight is unavoidable, they have to loop in the association to prevent collateral damage. Edward keeps the pressure on, warning that a stunt like this could land him in a courtroom. Even if his home country tries to shield him, the international regulators are going to demand some serious answers. Then, flashing a practiced, diplomatic smile, he suggests they keep the peace and not escalate things further. He basically orders Dae-soo to clean up his own mess quietly. Right there in Korea. The chairman swallows his pride and agrees, but Edward isn't done tightening the screws just yet. He says they'll let this slide, but there's a catch. He needs a sit-down with the mystery fighter Dae-soo clashed with. Sipping his coffee like he owns the place, Edward mentions he's dying to meet the hunter who stood his ground. Dae-soo hangs up, instantly clocking the real target, Min Si-woo. Cut to black, then a scene shift. With a silent vow, the stage is set for a reunion in South Korea. Dae-soo is grinding his teeth, replaying the humiliating L he just took. He never thought he'd face that kind of raw power. Flashback time. We see him cocky, absolutely convinced he'd stomp Min Si-woo without breaking a sweat. But reality hit him like a freight train. He's consumed by frustration. The protagonist is so overpowered he barely feels human anymore. He's racking his brain for the secret. It feels twisted that all his grinding was made to look like a joke so easily. But then, a creepy grin spreads across his face. He realizes he's been craving this, the adrenaline of a deathmatch. He clenches his fist, knuckles white. He needs to level up, find something to shatter his own ceiling. Now he's got a purpose, a boss battle to win. He officially welcomes the Mad Dog as the ultimate target to crush. Time skip, 1 week later. Night falls over the Blue Flower Guild HQ. A guy asks Yewa the tough question. Was she ghosting everyone out of shame? She owns it, admitting that knowing her master was back was the only comfort she needed. Min Si-woo lets out a heavy sigh, asking if she's for real. He's not buying the pity party. Yewa pivots, asking if he looked into Min Young's death. He nods. He confirmed the hit, but the trail for the person calling the shots leads offshore, outside of Korea. Si-woo figures Dae-soo just played her like a pawn for his own gain, not to specifically target her students. Yewa, clearly rattled, tries to stammer something about blood ties, but our boy cuts her off. He already knows. He gives her a reassuring pat, telling her straight up, he wouldn't defend anyone who treats him like garbage, family or not. She cracks a smile, thanking him. She admits he's the reason she managed to bounce back, but Si-woo warns her it's not game over yet. She's got to sever those toxic roots. He tells her to stand tall and be proud because her conscience is clean. A quick flashback flickers by him, promising to help her steamroll through her problems. Yewa smiles, realizing she's got a squad behind her. Fueled by that support, she grabs her phone. She's ready to face the music and apologize to Si-young. She knows trust is a slow build, but she owns her mistakes. Min Si-woo scratches the back of his neck awkwardly, suggesting they meet him tomorrow. She jumps a bit, but he drops the bomb. He's already set it up with Si-young. He checks his phone, 9 missed calls. Suddenly, someone screams his name from down the hall. Byung bursts in, looking like he's seen a ghost. It's urgent. He just got a ring from HMCS International HQ. The big boss, VP Edward Blackwood, is jetting into Korea, and he's coming specifically to meet Si-woo. Si-woo scrunches his face in annoyance. That guy Edward found out about the brawl. What a drag. He asks what the hell the VP wants with him. The agent says they were vague, while Byung is floored that Siwoo is on a first-name basis with Edward. He adds that the VP is hunting for answers, and Siwoo's name popped up as the VIP of this visit. Siwoo stands up, cutting the chatter. He's sparing them the details, strictly classified stuff. The man asks him to hang tight in the office for the schedule. Meanwhile, the boss is going nuclear on the phone, demanding Byung get intel by any means necessary. Yewa tells him to chill and fly under the radar. Later, he's surprised to find her walking right next to him. Yewa explains it's just her commute home. Siwoo takes the opening, asking what her next move is. She pledges to help the investigation, leveraging the full weight of her guild's resources. Then, out of nowhere, a pitch-black sedan slams on the brakes right in front of them, horn blaring aggressively. They both freeze, totally confused, but Yewa clocks the ride immediately. From the back seat, a voice drips with sarcasm, roasting Min Se-gu for playing savior, even after knowing the ugly truth. The tinted window glides down, slow-motion style, revealing Dae-soo inside face like stone, eyes screaming murder. The chairman barks at Min Se-gu, calling the mad dog to hop in. Yewa ain't having it. She's shook by the audacity and demands to know why Min needs to bow down to this guy. But the chairman claps back instantly. You want to stay close to your student? Listen up. The threat hangs heavy in the air. She steps up, fists clenched, ready to throw hands. She screams, "Scumbag," but Min Se-gu cuts her off with a chill smile. He tells her to head home. "I'll hit you up when this is over." Yehua watches, heart racing. As her master cracks the car door, he slides in. Zero hesitation, no looking back. The engine roars to life, leaving her stranded on the curb, speechless as the ride fades into the distance. Min Se-gu admits to himself she was spot on. Inside the whip, the chairman laughs at him for showing his face after taking such a massive beating. Dae-soo grins, admitting his schedule is getting messy, so he proposes. Let's make it official, a death match. Min Se-gu shuts him down cold, sneering that it's wild a guy like him actually runs the show. Then, arms crossed, he drops the name that changes everything, Pandemonium. The chairman spills the tea. Remnants of that ancient crew are still active globally. The intel is solid. Demons hit them up 10 years ago, right after Min Se-gu vanished. He stays, quiet, wondering if they're just a cult or straight-up demon proxies. The chairman shifts in his leather seat and keeps going. Since the peace treaty, tracking these monsters is basically mission impossible. Big shots are watching, but nobody's seen anything real. Then he drops the bombshell. Rumors of half-demons popping up in the Middle East. Min Se-gu's eyes snap up, locked in. Tell me more. Cut to a sun-drenched desert city. Half-demons hybrids of humans and monsters. They look like regular folks. No horns, no wings, but there's a major catch. They wield dark mana. Dae-soo admits he hasn't seen it with his own eyes. Foreigners are banned from those hot zones. Then, he flips the script. You used dark mana in our fight. Did you switch sides to the demons? The chairman smirks, convinced Min Se-gu traded his honor for raw power. Teaming up with the very things he hates, pure disgust washes over our hero's face. I ain't nothing like them. Done with the talk, he orders the driver to pull over. Tires screech to a halt. He steps out into the open air and drops a final warning. I'm not with the demons, and I definitely ain't with a snake like you. Before slamming the door, he demands an apology for Yehua. Don't come find me unless you're ready to die. Dae-soo just laughs, loving the vibe, and asks, why protect people so much weaker than you? Min replies, cool as ice. You'll regret asking that one day. He tells him to stay in his lane. The car peels out, leaving him standing solo on the pavement, lost in thought. Smash cut to HMCS headquarters. The staff is freaking out. Global HQ just walked in the building. Whispers flood the hallways. Branch inspection? It's always something. Outside, Director Bake's office. The boss welcomes Edward Blackwood, introducing Min Se-gu as their newest hunter. The blonde guy sits like royalty, greeting them properly. But Min Se-gu skips the pleasantries. What do you want? With a cheeky grin, Edward turns to Director Bake. Give us the room. The director is dying to know the tea, but he knows better than to defy a suit. He steps out, promising to wait in the hall. The second the latch clicks shut, a massive scream rocks the walls. Min Se-gu covers his ears instantly. Edward grabs him by the collar, shaking him. Where have you been for the last 10 years? Before Min can speak, Edward punches him in the chest. You jerk. Then, taking a breath, he admits he's just glad Min is in one piece. Tell me everything. Min sighs he knew this was coming and tells his old friend to take a seat. After hearing the saga, Edward realizes Min survived in a dimension where time plays by different rules. He feels guilty that the world forgot their hero, admitting that even he was starting to let the memory fade. He gets choked up, remembering exactly who Min Se-gu is. Savior, the guy who yanked him back from hell's doorstep more than once. Min Sibu hates that label. He brushes it off like dirt on his shoulder and cuts to the chase. Where is Yewa? Edward breaks it down. The main office isn't flying solo. They're teaming up with top-tier guilds on a massive operation. Specifically, the Blue Flower Guild. Since Blue Flower is a partner, that's how Edward secured the intel. He uses this opening to pitch a transfer. Come to the European headquarters. Min Sibu shuts him down instantly. Hard pass. Edward actually looks thrown off by the rejection. He pushes back, insisting Sibu is a leviathan swimming in a puddle. A player of his caliber needs a proper teammate to watch his six. Plus, with head office authority backing him, any investigation becomes a breeze. We're talking unlimited budget and resources that dwarf the local branches. Sibu hits him with a "I'll sleep on it" and pivots. He wants the tea on this mystery case, keeping the guild so busy. Edward drops the intel. Hunters stumbled upon a portal out in the desert. It was a massacre. Hunters dropped dead from poisoning. But the autopsy threw a curveball. Their systems were flooded with illegal performance enhancers. Sibu scoffs. Since when do illegal boosters for the awakened even exist? That sounds like science fiction. Edward doesn't blink. He confirms the impossible with zero hesitation, then drops a bombshell that makes the blood run cold. Headquarters has been tracking random deaths globally for over a year now. The forensics team found something nightmarish. Victims' organs weren't just damaged, they were shredded at the cellular level. That's why they kept a lid on it. The dead were all low-life criminals, and the substance vanished from their systems without a trace. A perfect crime. Then the narrative flips. They got lucky. A witness to a similar freak event in China finally decided to spill the beans. According to her, a group of awakened inhaled this mysterious black dust. They didn't just get high, they lost their minds. Total psychosis followed by self-destruction. Sibu connects the dots instantly. That black dust. It's the same weapon that wiped out those hunters in the desert. Edward corrects him coldly. Connected is an understatement. That desert is ground zero. But the math ain't mathing. The portal is a recent discovery, but these accidents go back over 6 months. That's when Edward drops the missing piece. The guildmaster of Blue Flower located the raw, original form of the dust right there at the site, and she spotted a vehicle from a shady group called the YZ Guild. The plot just got a whole lot thicker. Hearing this, Sibu collapses into his chair, face-palming hard. He silently groans at the absolute mess his student has dragged herself into. Edward flashes a grin that screams, "I got you." He admits he knew Yewa was Sibu's disciple the entire time. Since she found the substance first, she's in the crosshairs. Edward points out the obvious. Sibu joining the case is the only way to save her skin. It's a leverage play. Help us, and you make her life a whole lot easier. Then he twists the knife. Are you really going to let your apprentice drown in this disaster? The vibe around the mad dog turns pitch black. His aura screams murder before he even speaks. He sighs internally. He knows when he's been checkmated. He agrees to the mission, tossing in a casual excuse that he had unfinished business in the Middle East anyway. Edward claps, looking like the cat that got the cream, and offers to handle the beef with President Dae-soo. Sibu leans back, looking bored, and cuts him off. That trash is just a power-hungry junkie. He delivers a cold reality check. At the end of the day, the president is merely human, and humans break. Cut to Sejun walking in on his brother packing bags. He asks if this is about that new gig for headquarters. Sibu confirms it a direct request from Edward himself. Sejun blinks, totally confused. Since when are you two besties? Before he can answer, Sibu's phone buzzes. He waves his brother off. It's a long story. Yewa will fill you in. His face goes stone cold as he picks up the call. Walking away for privacy, he greets Yewa with a sharp question. How exactly did you get this number? Later, while prepping for departure, Predator's voice echoes in his head. Where to? The answer is simple. European headquarters. The entity's tone shifts, heavy and serious. Will I need to push my mana to the breaking point again? Sibu laughs it off, but Predator isn't joking. It's not about running out of juice. It's about the vessel. Sibu pauses, intrigued. What kind of change are we talking about here? Predator explains that ever since they hopped back to Earth, it's been trying to adapt, but control is slipping. The dimensional travel took a toll, and that last brawl might have been the tipping point. The pact stops Predator from hurting Sibu directly, but the entity warns that things are about to get messy. The stronger Sibu gets, and the more mana he recovers, the more unstable the connection becomes. It drops a tactical nightmare. My power might ghost you right when you need it most. Sibu goes quiet. He lets the weight of that threat sink in for a second. Then he shakes it off, eyes hardening. It won't be a problem. He's got to handle his own mess now. He clarifies that he'll need the heavy firepower for the demons, but right now, not the time. He stretches out, looking totally unbothered. Even though the scrap with Daisu was a pain, he admits it was a solid XP grind. Then his mind drifts back to the boosters. The name alone gives him bad vibes. Smash cut to black. 2 days later, we jump straight to the big league's HMCS International Headquarters. Inside, the rumor mill is spinning. 2 hunters are spilling tea about Edward Blackwood, bringing in fresh meat for a classified gig. We just need someone with Asian expertise, one guy says, then immediately starts simping over Hayakawa Hikari. He's gushing about how she's the most gorgeous, competent leader ever. Suddenly, Lila Team 1's captain crashes the party. She bluntly states she'd rather roll with Wa from Korea. That triggers Hikari instantly. Hikari gets in her face. I heard that. Say it again. I dare you. The tension is thick enough to cut with a knife. Enter a guy sweating bullets, apologizing for being late. The director wants everyone in the war room. Now. Hikari crosses her arms, shooting a poisonous glare. Look who finally showed up. The nepotism hire. The kid is mortified. Please, just hurry. I literally just touched down. Lila analyzes him. If the VP picked him up personally, he must be special. And then, the name drop, Min Sogu. Flashback to the airport, showing him striding alongside Edward Blackwood. The plot is just starting to tighten. Back in the boardroom, the atmosphere is heavy. Blackwood skips the pleasantries. Glad you made it, he says, getting straight to business. Time to meet the new guy. He introduces Min Seogu, straight from the Korean branch. He's on the squad starting today. The camera pans over to the Euro Division reps, Lila and Estefan. Sitting opposite them, the Asian Division heavy hitters, Hikari and her subordinate, Kumo. Blackwood doesn't waste a second. This is urgent. We're skipping the formalities, he points to Lila. Fill the rookie in on the situation. Lila stands up immediately to take the lead, but mid-sentence, an assistant bursts in to interrupt. Boss man has to bounce. With a perfect corporate smile, Blackwood bails and leaves the mess to Investigation Team 1. He leaves, and the room goes dead silent. Total cringe. Lila clears her throat to break the awkwardness. Let's get started. The projector lights up. The topic? Illegal ability boosters circulating among the awakened. We were sent to a rank A portal zone, she explains. Found 6 bodies dropped nearby. Autopsy confirms their insides were liquefied, identical to the previous incidents. And right next to the corpses, we found the boosters. There were signs of a heavy skirmish near the portal, but inside, 0 activity, totally dormant. Gets worse. A vehicle belonging to the Eyes Guild was found on the scene. Intel says they're a small, legit guild, with a clean record. Lila doesn't look convinced. The plan is to sweep the portal and scour the area. She pauses. Any questions? Min Sogu cuts in, but he's not asking about the crime scene. He pivots. Do we have intel on a group of half-demons? Lila blinks, visibly confused. Excuse me? You really think demons are pulling the strings here? I'm not 100% sure, Sogu replies, but we need to keep tabs on them. Think about it. If humans cooked up this drug, the recipe would have leaked by now. He asks for every file they have, past or present. Hikari snaps, cutting him off. Why are we talking about fairy tales? Seogu shoots back. Just sharing what I heard. How are you so sure I'm wrong? Hikari lets out a mean, mocking laugh. That is absurd. We're chasing ghosts now? Because some random hunter heard a rumor? If half demons were involved, HQ would have flagged it. She goes for the jugular. You have no rank. You were hired purely on nepotism. Sit down. The room freezes. Hikari doubles down, reminding him of the peace treaty signed 10 years ago. Voices start rising. Lila stands up abruptly. Enough. Estefan jumps in too. Chill out, people. The investigation is starting, Lila warns. You're experts. Act like it. She glares at Minsogu. Focus on the mission. He nods, but his eyes say just for now. Conflict managed. Lila announces she's sending the coordinates for tomorrow's drop. Meeting adjourned. Pack your bags. We're heading to the airport. But as they walk out, the tension follows them. Hikari is practically vibrating with rage, obsessed with who this guy thinks he is. She can't wrap her head around how someone so arrogant and abrasive could actually vibe with the vice president. Lila tries to talk her down, telling her to chill, but Hikari snaps back, accusing her of playing favorites. Lila denies it, but she has to drop some truth. Like it or not, Min Siwoo clearly has serious skills. Cut to the empty lounge. Siwoo lets out a yawn that screams, pure boredom. He's already sensing this trip is going to be a massive drag, and honestly, he hates wasting time on nonsense. The door swings open, and Edward walks in, throwing shade about the warm welcome from the squad. With a look that says whatever, Siwoo hits him with a sarcastic, Mr. Vice President. Edward sits down and vents immediately. Running a global organization? Not exactly a walk in the park. Siwoo stands up, reminding him that reality hits hard, and big power always comes with big-time responsibility. Curious, Edward leans in and asks, what's his read on the team? Siwoo shrugs. Some are annoying, sure, but he doesn't care as long as they stay out of his lane. Edward grins, same old Siwoo. Then his face hardens. Don't start drama. The HQ's reputation is riding on this. Scene shift. The squad rolls up to the HMCS base in the Middle East. A guide greets them, saying rooms are prepped, and a ride is waiting to take them to the site. VIP treatment. Next day. While Lila is being polite about the hospitality, Predator is whining to Min Siwoo about the killer heat. Siwoo scans the area, zero demon vibes. He really hopes Daisu didn't play him. He steps toward Hikari to finish their earlier chat, but she shuts him down cold. Eyes sharp, she warns him to stay alert unless he wants to die a stupid death. Rubbing his temples, Siwoo realizes one thing with absolute crystal clarity. This girl, she is going to be a massive headache. Later, Siwoo goes rogue to launch his own little investigation. He corners a local, asking straight up about half-demons. The guy shrugs, claiming he's only heard whispers, and his village is buried way out in the deep desert. Next, a kid glued to his phone barely looks up, denying he knows anything about the ISE Guild or demon-run organizations. Suddenly, a girl jumps into the convo. They look like regular humans, she explains. Only a mana scanner can spot them. She adds that hybrids born during the war, 10 years ago, were total outcasts. Nobody wanted them. So yeah, no blame if they decided to ghost society, maybe even blending into the crowd right under everyone's noses. Siwoo scratches his head. Dead end. He's getting nothing solid and starts wondering if he needs to trek deeper into the wasteland. Suddenly, Predator pops up, calling him food and mocking him for being an outsider. The entity reminds him they move as a pack, but Siwoo insists on rocking that lone wolf style. He flops down, saying it's his free time to handle personal business. Right then, a voice calls out his name, snapping him out of it. It's Lila. She asks why he's chilling out here instead of the fancy HMCS building. He tells her he's just killing time looking into things and flips the question back to her. She says Stefan went to handle the portal permits since the government is still doing their assessment. The chat shifts gears when Lila assumes that since he's from the Korean branch, he must report to Director Baek. Siwoo clarifies he only joined the agency recently, which totally floors her. She admits she thought he was an OG veteran. He's got that seasoned hunter aura. To deflect, he mentions, Blackwood said she made a name for herself. Lila laughs it off. She's just a regular researcher from Northern Europe. That detail triggers a memory for Siwoo. He brings up a hunter from that region named Hans Schroeder. Her expression changes instantly. She repeats Hans Schroeder in total shock. Siwoo pulls out his phone, flashes a photo, and asks if this is the guy. On the screen, there's a dude with a mustache and a ridiculously bright smile. She nods without hesitation. She'd know that face anywhere, even with age. He asks if they're related, and Lila reveals the bombshell. Hans is her uncle. She's surprised he looks so young in the pic. Siwoo awkwardly says he just aged well. Then, the light leaves her eyes. She whispers that her uncle would be happy to see him if he were conscious. Hans has been out cold for 2 years straight thanks to portal syndrome. The name says it all. Brow furrowed, mind racing, mana, gates, the nasty infections they breed. It's all still one big, fat question mark. Then Lila drops the bombshell. Her uncle dove too deep into a gate. Trying to play hero for a buddy, he stayed way past his curfew. By the time the rescue squad dragged him out, lights out, comatose. Since then, she's been speedrunning high-rank gates in her spare time, desperate for a cure, but she's coming up empty. Minsik hits her with the real question. You hunting rare loot? Secret elixirs stashed inside? She nods. Sounds wild, sure, but the guy is her only blood left. She's gotta try. Right on cue, Stefan bursts in. Green light secured. Authorization is ready to roll. Lila stands up, heading out to grab Hikari. As she walks away, Minsik makes a mental note. Visit Hans as soon as possible. Smash cut to the desert. The whole squad is crammed into an SUV, tearing through the sand. Hikari's whining about the grit and asking, are we there yet? Every 5 seconds. Stefan blames the trash GPS signal, but promises they're close. Man, Hikari is a total pain. Anyway, back to the action. In the backseat, Minsik mutters about how prepping for a night raid is a nightmare. Then he catches himself. Gates bridge totally different dimensions. Inside, could be a sunny paradise where the light never dies, or a pitch-black hellscape. Won't know until they cross the threshold. Hikari rolls her eyes. Everyone knows that. Genius. Minsik cuts her off. It's not that simple. Gates mess with human biology. Lila flinches, visibly shaken. Hikari smirks, twisting the knife. Oh, here comes the portal syndrome lecture, right? Minsik claps back. They're vets here. That grim fate is usually reserved for total noobs. Lila slices through the tension, ordering them to chill out. See? Told you Hikari was annoying. Zero maturity. Moving on. Finally, the ride screeches to a halt. There it is, looming in the middle of the dunes. Hikari comments on the sheer scale. Her partner confirms, estimated A rank. Stefan scans the perimeter. Looks like the drop zone was already swept. Marks in the sand say the local mana pattern. Vanished ages ago. Our main character doesn't sense anything weird, but he's got this nagging, gut-wrenching feeling that someone scrubbed the evidence on purpose. Lila orders Hikari to stick with the squad. Hikari totally ignores her. Nothing to see here. Not waiting for a countdown, the duo announces they're diving in solo. Lila's losing it. What's the rush? But with zero other options, the rest of the crew pushes toward the swirling orange gate. But as the hunters approach, three shadowy figures in the distance are tracking every step. One of them, scarred face, creepy vibe, cracks a wicked, malicious grin. He whispers, "This is gonna be too easy." He's loving it, watching them walk straight into a death trap. Everything's going exactly according to plan. Clock hits 5:40 p.m. Showtime. Target, A-rank gate. 6 elite hunters on the roster. Inside the anomaly, the Northern Desert investigation is officially a go. Finally happening. Stefan admits he's sweating bullets. Raids aren't his vibe. Lila, though, ice cold. She triggers her skill. A brilliant green magic circle blazes across the ground. Secret garden. Roots erupt, diving deep into the earth, sniffing out mana signatures and heartbeats. She reminds them, eyes on the prize. We need intel on the illegal optimizers. The roots sprawl across a massive area. The squad can't hide their shock. That is some serious power. A beat later, she stands up. Coast is clear. No monsters nearby. But there's a catch. Her radar gets fuzzy. The further out she scans, she suggests splitting up. Slow and steady today, guys. No picking fights, no heroics. The duo isn't having it. Hikari blows her off and sends Kumo to sweep the entire zone. Minsik roasts her for just barking orders. Hikari screams back, "I'm way too valuable for grunt work." Seeing the circus, Lila steps up and widens the search grid. The team splits. Kumo claps back with sass when Lila demands radio silence check-ins. Our hero hangs back, wondering why they even bothered teaming up. Predator starts trolling him, hinting he's being ghosted. Minsik tells him to zip it. Suddenly, he freezes. Something on the ground catches his eye. He squats down, analyzing a dark stain in the dirt. Def not normal. Predator whines about the filth, but Minsik nods. This didn't spawn here. Someone dragged it in from the outside. He rubs the grit between his fingers, vibe checking the energy. Is this demonic? No time to overthink. He jams a hand in his pocket and snatches an item. Smash cut to an old-timer picking up his phone. On the line, it is his master. The bald guy, posted up outside the gate, demands an update. The servant reports a shady squad lurking nearby. Master wants a head count. 5 bogeys, he confirms. As the crew steps through the orange rift, the master is revealed to be Min Si-woo. The servant begs to join the raid, but Min Si-woo shuts him down. Hold the line here. Stop reinforcements. Block the exit. Predator looks shook. The old guy is actually here. Min Si-woo clarifies he tagged along for the ride. Flashback. He told him to keep his distance. Dude was a ghost at the airport, totally low profile. Predator calls him a manipulator. Min hits back. You do the crime, you pay the price. He taps the dirt with his boot, hunting for whatever is fueled by this corrupted mana. He glances up at the sunset and realizes nightfall is going to make things messy. Meanwhile, deep in the desert, Kumo sprints back to Hikari with intel. Gasping for air, he drops the bad news. Nothing. 0 monsters. 0 optimizers. Hikari is stunned. How is an uncharted gate completely barren? Her partner points out the battle scars outside. Maybe the hunters wiped each other out. She shakes her head. No way. There would be bodies. The government locked this zone down, and anyone breaking in leaves a trail. Kumo suggests they were chasing high-tier loot, rare items. Hikari feels the regional director breathing down her neck. Failing is not an option. She makes a move. Summoning Kagutsuchi. A massive serpent of purple energy manifests. With a scream, she commands it to rip the earth apart. Boom! A violet shockwave shatters the ground and blasts into the sky with savage force. Lila flinches. Her radar was empty. Panicked, she radios Stefan, but he is already sprinting toward the blast. As he takes off, she groans. Why is there always a problem? Then, out of nowhere, shadowy figures surround her. One flashes a creepy grin. Back in the desert, Kumo stares, awed by the raw power that just leveled the zone. Hikari moves to loot the magic stones. Sure, she nailed it, but the blast uncovered buried bodies. The huntress lets out a terrified scream. Kumo rushes over. Relax, not humans, monsters. He explains they are dark creations. Their hands twitch. Suddenly, a horde of ghouls erupts from the sand, hungry for blood. Undead swarm them instantly. The huntress scowls, mind racing. How the hell did they hide without tripping sensors? Her partner is confused too. Undead do not usually pack up like this. Whatever. She attacks first, calling her spirit, Kagutsuchi, to wipe the board clean. At her command, it forms a titanic purple energy snake. It lunges, shaking the very earth, and sends monsters flying. A follow-up beam fries every zombie in its path to a crisp. Smirking, she quips, "Try sneaking up on me again." But the win is short-lived. More freaks claw out of the sand. Her partner panics. Is there a whole army buried under their feet? He freezes, brain short-circuiting at the sheer number of enemies spawning. Suddenly, the kid spots a blindside attack. Watch your six. Before the blow connects, a hunter blinks in, blasting a beam that saves her life. The rookie scans the battlefield. Where did all these things come from? Annoyed, she snaps back, asking how his boss missed a literal horde under their noses. The argument heats up, but the partner cuts in. Save the drama. We got incoming. He triggers Kamaitachi and dashes forward, leaving a streak of blue neon energy. He shreds the undead, but the bodies keep twitching like nothing happened. Smash their heads or they will not stop. Fed up, the girl screams for Kagutsuchi to nuke them all at once. The serpent whips around, obliterating the horde with its tail. She admits her power, drains fast against physical bodies. The hunter shrugs, pretty sure our leader already knows that. The partner figures out the meta smash, the skulls or die trying. He charges a beast, complaining the whole way. This is literally his nightmare matchup. His kit is built for massive area of effect nukes, not single target duels. He knows they're cooked if this keeps up. The mob density is just too high. Suddenly, a mysterious voice echoes from the shadows, summoning a literal storm. Crimson energy arrows rain down from above, drilling into targets with insane precision, straight through the undead skulls. The girl stands there, totally shook, wondering how anyone can land every single shot with such god-tier aim. In seconds, the horde gets wiped, flawless victory. Min Si-woo steps out of the chaos, watching everything with that ice-cold, calculating stare. Stunned, the huntress can't help but wonder what kind of monster Stefan really is. Totally gassed, he realizes why Leela's radar missed them. These things have zero vital signs. He suggests ditching the portal, gearing up properly, and spinning the block at dawn. Her partner nods, but she's hesitating. Min Si-woo tells her to cut the stubborn crap. Pushing forward is just gonna wreck the mission site. Face burning red, she silently agrees, knowing they're just burning mana and wasting time. But then, her partner screams and points at a nearby trench. Another wave of undead bursts from the hole, rushing them at full speed. She spins around to Stefan and asks if his boss is coming, or if he even managed to warn her. Panicking, he replies he tried to make contact, but she's ghosting his calls. Min Si-woo shoots him a look of pure disgust, asking if he seriously just left his leader out there solo. Before anyone can clap back, he dumps the monsters on them and takes off. He sprints across the wasteland, leaving the squad to deal with the new threat. While on the move, he whips out his phone and calls for backup inside the portal. He orders them to track the other team's trail and keep him posted on their location. After hanging up, he pauses and scans the canyon, calculating his next move. He figures the enemies probably snatched one of their teammates. Cut to the next scene, Lila is tied up. Thinking she never stood a chance, they totally jumped her. She's wondering how the bandits breached the perimeter, since security was tight and the portal was on lockdown. One of the captors gets triggered by her defiant stare, but the boss orders him to chill. He explains they need her as bait to lure the rest in and wipe the whole squad, killing two birds with one stone. Their endgame is taking over the black market. He tells his lackey to look at the big picture, but the partner protests about taking orders from a guy who looks like a bag of bones. The boss shuts him down, warning him to watch his mouth when speaking about him. He might look frail, but watch out, he's a necromancer. Speaking of the devil, the guy slices his own veins and lets dark blood drip onto the desert sand. The liquid spreads out, and suddenly, an undead hand violently bursts from the ground. The white-haired man gears up as the undead rise all around him. The voice concludes with a creepy calm, explaining that necromancy is an art that defies the natural laws of life and death. And even within those forbidden arts, his methods are the absolute worst. The leader views him as a despicable creature, something unlike anything he's ever seen. However, he admits he needs the necromancer's connections to rebuild the mast, his father's legacy. Just then, a curious goon asks for a whiff of the drug. The boss shuts him down instantly, asking if he's lost his damn mind. Another guy steps in, clarifying that the vial's contents can boost a mediocre skill, all the way to S-rank level. Then he warns that the user's body becomes a ticking time bomb, destined to implode sooner or later. The leader gets in the necromancer's face, demanding to know where that substance came from. The white-haired man just cracks a sinister smile, totally amused by the situation. He mocks him, asking how he dares to demand anything after being such a colossal failure. The leader makes excuses, claiming it was out of his control, just unforeseen variables. Leela, tied up, laughs right in his face, saying she actually admires his lack of shame. The guy in sunglasses glares at him, stating he has no intention of spilling intel to a useless leader. The goon loses it and lunges at him, but the necromancer senses the commotion and spins around. Cut to a woman suddenly appearing, ordering him to stand down. There are dangerous investigators lurking nearby. Ivan, the necromancer, greets her with a smirk, asking what Lady Crow is doing in a godforsaken dump like this. She freezes the moment she spots the hostage, asking who the hell that girl Lila is. She watches from the shadows, absolutely convinced someone is about to get wrecked. Ivan flashes a cocky grin, clarifying he wasn't talking about the hostage. She stays breathing, for now. Crow drops the bombshell he was referring to himself. He tells Ivan it's too late and starts glitching out of existence. Before ghosting completely, he taunts, "You really think we're on the same team?" The necromancer loses it, teeth grinding in pure rage. He curses the guy for hiding in the dark. A confused lackey pipes up, Boss? Who was that?" "Shut your mouth," the boss snaps. "Play dumb." His face goes stone cold. Neither the girl nor the feds are seeing the sunrise. Cut to another scene. Our trio stumbles onto a trail of bodies. Total carnage. Estefan shudders. "Man, Min Si Woo's path is paved with zombies. Literal nightmare fuel. If it wasn't for him, we'd be cooked," he admits, begging to call for backup. But the huntress isn't backing down. She's running on fumes but refuses to quit. Her partner catches her right before she faceplants. "Hey, I got you." Suddenly, Min Si Woo pulls up. Hikari blinks, shocked. "You came back?" The hunter just stares, ice cold as always. Estefan stammers, Did something happen to leader Lila?" Hikari cuts him off, annoyed. Min Si Woo ignores the drama. "Found battle traces. I can sense her mana. That way." Her partner connects the dots. "You think the guy who summoned these freaks took her?" "No way," Estefan panics. "Leela wouldn't go down that easy." Min Si Woo walks past him. "Scared? Then stay here and fight. The monster's yourself." Ice cold. Seeing him bail, the squad has no choice but to scramble after him. "Wait up!" Inside the portal, Min Si Woo confirms the kidnappers are locked in there with them. Hikari starts gagging at the smell. Ugh, the air reeks of death. Her partner looks around, nervous. "You really think they dragged the leader all the way out here?" They hit a cavern. Boom, a voice echoes from the dark. "Well, look who finally showed up. Thanks for saving us the trip," the villain sneers. Zombies start swarming, but Hikari snaps. "You bastards." She dives in, blade swinging. Kumo's right behind her, screaming, "I ain't letting my cousin have all the fun." He clocks the four-eyed lackey, who whines, "I don't get paid enough for this violence." Kumo ignores him, unleashing a sick spin attack that knocks the whole squad back. Point of view, you messed with the wrong team. The enemy leader is not amused. Reckless brats. He charges up his ult. Wolf Lance. He unleashes a nuke of golden energy. Min Si Woo clicks his tongue, he's over these clowns, but Kumo clutches up. He pops a magic barrier, tanking the hit. Hikari scans the room. Too tight. Can't summon here without crushing us. She switches strats. Use the chaos as cover to locate the missing Lila. But the necromancer teleports right in her face. Knew a rat would try to scurry away. "Move, trash." Hikari screams, her body crackling with high-voltage lightning. White hair just sighs. "You're annoying." Bam. He lands a brutal hit, sending her flying. Kumo watches her ragdoll through the air and screams. Even Min Si Woo's poker face cracks with concern. "Hikari," Min Si Woo bellows, his voice cutting through the noise. Amidst the total chaos of the battlefield, our main character screams her name the second she takes the hit. He reaches out, and a massive golden magic circle erupts in front of him. The light catches her, swirling around with a weird, hypnotic energy. It's mesmerizing. Hikari's eyes go wide. She feels the surge coursing through her veins. She's never felt juice like this before. Ivan the necromancer freezes. He recognizes that technique instantly. Necromantic spirit magic. "Fascinating," he mutters. He's never seen it performed live. Pretty ironic coming from him. Kumo, seeing red, charges the necromancer. "You, dead man," but Four Eyes intercepts him. "Easy, kid." The villain blocks Kumo's strike like it's nothing. "We aren't done yet, little boy." Meanwhile, Predator senses the vibe shift. This guy's power is on another level. Not human, not even close. Min Si Woo feels it too. He knows there's a trick here, and this is going to be a boss fight. Ivan sizes him up, giving props for his stance. "Let's see if you're worth the hype." He snaps his fingers, sending the undead horde forward. Min Si Woo doesn't blink. Wind cutter, blades of air shred the darkness. The undead get sliced apart with surgical precision, cut down right at the source of their dark magic. The necromancer actually gives props, admitting the kid knows his stuff, clearing out his precious children with terrifying efficiency. Totally intrigued, He demands to know what kind of day job on Earth requires that level of killing skill. Then he cracks up, throwing out a twisted taunt. What are you, some kind of man-eating monster in disguise? Elsewhere in the chaos, more of those green freaks spawn in. Predator looks ready to hurl, screaming that this creep is literally building an entire army right now. But Minsu decides it's time to stop playing games. He unleashes a massive bolt of energy, smashing straight into the horde with devastating force. The blast fries them instantly, total crispy critters. Ivan just smirks, admitting he never thought a mere human could control mana with that kind of finesse. The MC fires back with his own surprise. He says he never expected the son of a junkie to have such a polished vocabulary. That specific phrase, junkie's son, absolutely triggers the necromancer. He repeats the words, his eyes burning with pure, unadulterated hatred. He vehemently denies touching the dust, spitting on humanity. He calls them pathetic wretches who can't survive a single day without their fix.